I can't believe I'm still watching this spider sex video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Podtoid number 163. I'm your host, Jim Sterling, and I'm joined once again this week by Max Scoville. And Tara Long.
Hey there!
Jonathan Holmes is late again. He is tending to the mentals. He's been pushed. We're going to have to, we were saying before we pressed record, we're probably going to have to start recording a bit later. Though I don't know why I'm telling you, because it'll still go up at the same time. So, what a waste. Games of the whatever, I guess. Let's start with Tara. What have you been playing this week?
More World of Warcraft. I'm up I know. I'm up to level 22 now.
Okay.
So I'm getting there. You know, this was not in place back when I played WoW 5 years ago, but now you can get a mount at level 20, which makes the game considerably more tolerable. Because before you had to wait till level 40, and it just fucking sucks walking everywhere. And that's really literally the one thing that really turned me off from playing WoW for a long time. So I'm back on it now. I played a little bit of Fallout 3, and our producer told me to check out Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers, because they're going to be sponsoring our PAX coverage this year. So, I've never played Magic before. My brother tried teaching me 10 years ago, and it just didn't stick. And the game actually has a really good tutorial for beginners who know absolutely nothing about it. And I started playing it, and then I kind of got a little bit addicted and ended up playing that for 4 or 5 hours this weekend. And there's still so much that I don't know about it. So it's definitely a learning process. I also checked out the demo for the Darkness 2, since we're covering them at PAX a little bit as well, but I didn't really play enough to form an actual opinion about it yet. I'm going to steal Max's copy of it and actually go through and play it this week. So that's about it.
It's actually it's Holmes' copy, but I'll bring that in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I stole a bunch of his shit when he wasn't looking.
Oh, I might steal your copy of Saints Row as well. If you're done with, or did you get a physical copy of it?
No, I've had a copy.
Did you download it or buy a copy of it?
I bought a copy. And I don't know. I've got. I guess you could maybe borrow. Whatever. Yeah, I guess you could borrow it. Whatever. I don't know. I really like the game. It's the only good game I have. Yeah, I got yelled at yesterday for not playing Magic the Gathering this weekend, which was a really, really surreal thing, because my boss yelled at me for not playing Magic the Gathering this weekend. I didn't get the email about it, so he was like, "Why didn't you do that?" And I was like, because I was talking to girls. I don't know. What do you say to that?
Imagine being fired from your job for not playing Magic the Gathering enough.
Yeah, it was really. I felt really embarrassed and weird about it.
Outside of Wizards of the Coast, that should not be brought up in admin.
Yeah. But it's just...
It's seriously fun, dude. I promise you. Get on that shit, because I want somebody to play with on Xbox Live.
Okay. Alright.
Have you got any cards with skeletons or not?
No, I've gotten cards with grizzly bears.
Fuck that.
What I really want to do is I was talking to my friend about it, and I'd love to do just as maybe a joke post or something on the site, just do invent some cards, take some existing cards and just change the names of them, so that Black Lotus or Birds of Paradise is instead, comment shitstorm on a Jim Sterling review, or Squid Bear, something like that.
I started making Magic the Gathering cards for soap operas, daytime TV soap operas.
Brilliant.
They were all British ones, so nothing anyone would. I mean, our British listeners would get things like Shadrach Hatches a Plan, which is an Emmerdale Farm reference, or Minty's beefy attempt, where the character of Minty tries to kiss Sam Mitchell in EastEnders. The British people right now, they're listening to this, they're cracking up. Although even by British standards, those are two very obscure references, so 10% of 5% of them will be cracking up. So that is good for a listen, but we could do American ones, Dallas Oil, 5 points.
Right.
Or
Sorry.
Dynasty Woman Magic.
Dynasty Warriors. How about that for a game?
My
Dynasty
magic
Warriors.
cards just came in the mail. My
God
doorbell
damn it!
just
This is
rang
just
right
like
now.
this is like the
Sorry, I had to escape
dorkiest Podtoid
Yeah,
ever.
this is pathetic and disgusting. Let me talk about my
Like-
idea for Dynasty Warriors London, which is a take on recent events, because I think that would be fantastic. Oh,
I don't know. I just think it would be. What if it was state of emergency London? You know. Dynasty Warriors is. It's just so Oriental.
that's racist.
Yeah, it is. What are we doing? Where's Holmes?
Why don't you tell us what you've been playing, Max Scoville, from Destructoid and other various places?
I played. Did I say I beat Saints Row? Because I beat Saints Row, and then I played Saints Row the Third, which is I don't know when the embargo. I guess I could talk about that, but I kind of want to. I interviewed Drew Holmes, the writer for the game. There's a dildo that you can hit stuff with. You can break car windows. There's an octopus gun that you can use to mind control people. There's a helicopter missile drone, basically, so you can be a missile if you feel like it. It's really fucking awesome. It's a great game. I'm really, really excited about it. Like, I can't. I don't know what to say because it's too much like pent up want
Just
of
let
the
it out.
game. Yeah, it's cool. It's going to be really fucking fun. What else? I've been playing some old Super Nintendo games because next week is the 20th anniversary of the U.S. release of the Super NES. So I actually wrote a feature for once of 5 of my sort of like underrated guilty pleasures of my Super Nintendo days. Spoiler alert, I included Super Baseball 2020, which is like regular baseball, except you have jetpacks and there are robots in it, which is a fun game. So I've been playing a lot of old Super Nintendo ROMs just to kind of, wax nostalgic for a bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounded really patronising on my part. I was just worried there wasn't enough energy, so I thought I'd put some in, but then it sounded really insincere and rude, like I was just mocking you.
We need to talk about like farts or something.
Yeah. They are funny when they come out of your ass.
Oh, they sound like a trumpet.
Oh god, and they're really quite bad when you need to do a shit, and they pass through the shit and bring the smell of the shit out with them. always a pleasure, always a rousing treat at the latest summer soiree. Sometimes I like to fart in a glass and drink it.
Where's
Okay, I
Hulk?
actually have a story. I have a funny story about farts. I don't know if you guys know like those yellow plastic Nestle Quick containers. The sort of I don't know if they have we have overseas listeners, but like the Nestle chocolate milk mix. It's like the yellow plastic thing. I remember when those first
right now.
Huh?
I have that in my pantry right now as we speak.
Right. So those things are like fairly airtight. They're very space age, containers. Back in like 1998 or whenever those first came out, when they switched from having like proper tins to having plastic space boxes, I was like, we finished one and I was just like, I'm keeping this box. I don't know what I'm probably gonna put bugs in it or something. But I had the worst farts, so I couldn't sleep. I was farting so much, so I just started farting in this yellow box. And I was like, "Oh my god, it smells horrible." Luckily, I'm like, hiding the farts in this box. And the next morning, hours later, I think it was after I came home from school. Even I was like, "Oh well, I'm sure the farts smell has dissipated from this chocolate milk space box." And I open it up, and it still smelled like fart. So if you ever need to store farts, you can use one of those chocolate milk boxes, and it will. So,
the thing that's disgusting about that, though, is that it probably doesn't even smell like fresh fart anymore. It probably just smells like musty.
Right, no, it probably smelled like powdered chocolate farts, really, because it smelled like chocolate to begin with. So you've just got this weird chocolate fart smell.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I like I said, it was it was a
Nesquik
dark time in my life.
I had farts for 2 days last week. Just wouldn't stop. It was really annoying. And you can't have farts when you're fat because people look at you and think, oh, that figures. And you don't want to prove people right. It's like when I'm like in public, I won't eat even if I'm really hungry because they'll look at me and think, oh, he's eating again, even though they've never seen me before. But oh, that must be his 50th fucking sandwich. And I'm like, it's the first sandwich I've had all day. And then, yeah, right, first sandwich you've had all minute, you fat fuck. So these are the things I imagine happen in people's minds. So you can't.
I did. Being openly rude to you in public about that?
No, it's worse than openly rude. They are politely rude, so you can't have a go at them. Like if I end up sitting next to an old man on a plane and it's like, well, you're a big boy. But he says it in a friendly way, so I can't say, and you're an old fucking bastard. And your face looks like a scrow. Like, I can't say that to him, even though I really want to. I actually sit there, actively hoping that if they're eating foods, they will spill some on me, so then they are embarrassed and I don't have to worry about being fat anymore. And that actually happened. I sat next to a lovely, like, little Japanese couple, and they got out on the plane, like, hot noodle soup. Soup on a plane. And I sat there because I was already embarrassed because I had to sit next to someone and I was on the plane and I'm fat. So it's like, oh God, they're thinking he is so fat. And then I said, but it would be great if some of that hot noodle soup splashed onto my crotch, like halfway through the flight, because then they would be indebted to me. And I could then just spread out and be extra fat and, you know, hit them in the face with my tit, you know, whatever. And it actually happened. It's almost like I made it happen with physics from my mind because they spilled their soup all over my balls and they were really apologetic, and then I just sat there and thought, fuck it, I'll get my iPod out now and spread out.
Did they take like a towel or something and go up and try and awkwardly blot your crotch with the towel?
No, actually they did get towels and I had to blot it myself. But it was worth smelling of old noodles and looking like I'd pissed myself, because my own shame had gone. Like, so long as you've both got something to be ashamed about, you're alright. Hate fucking flying. But I'm not gonna start eating salad though, so who's gonna, you know, win there? Not me. I'm gonna ask for another extra bit of belt, thanks, while I'm eating my steak.
I loved how, I think the first, like in-person conversation we ever had, Jim, was at E3 when we were waiting to get into the Destructoid party, and I was just like, how was your flight? And you went, that's fucking terrible! These two cunts were sitting in front of me with the seats all the way back so I couldn't feel my fucking knees, and my lips are all dry so I look like a whore!
Yeah, and I stand by that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really interesting, because normally you ask, that was a stupid question, like, how was your flight? We went in a fucking airplane and everyone was uncomfortable. Like, yeah. What are you going to say?
I went in an airplane and I looked like Chris Farley. What do you fucking think? But that was a particularly bad... And I'm sorry, this isn't about me being fat. If you're in front of me or anyone and you put your seat back, you are a fucking cunt. You are the Joseph Pixel of planes.
I'm 6'7", so flying for me is like a weird form of torture. I got seated once next to like this huge, like gigantic, like muscular black dude who's probably an inch or two taller than me, and then directly in front of me was this like massive Samoan fat guy, like putting his seat back, and I'm just sitting there and I look at this guy and we look around at the other, like, you know, normal sized people on the plane who were like sitting kind of whatever. The stewardess actually came by and gave us both drinks because we looked so fucking miserable and angry.
I'm usually alright because people get really histrionic with fat people, so if they sit next to me, even though it means I go out of my way to not get in someone's way, so I will squash myself up proper and I won't dare put my seat back or spread out. People get so histrionic anyway and think, oh God, fat fuck. The stewardess, sorry, I don't know if you can say that anymore, the wing people will... The children of the sky.
The cloud folk.
Yes. Yes, those folk will automatically, they'll move someone if they're sat next to me. And I'm not stuck in his trailer fat, you know? But people get so histrionic anyway that I usually end up with a seat next to me that's empty and I can just spread out and read the whatever books that I want. I tried to think of a brainy, clever book, but couldn't. Yeah. So that's flying. I get very het up about a month before I've got to fly, because of course we're all doing PAX at the end of the month. So all I've been thinking about is what a nightmare the flight's going to be, while still eating French fries and pizza rolls.
What I like to do is, I actually, when I go flying, I'm very poor and very stupid and loud, and generally in any other circumstance besides being at the airport, I kind of act like an idiot. But when I go to the airport, I always try and dress as sharply as possible and look as important as I can.
Yes,
just because I know that everyone else is stuck on the plane looking around being like, I wonder what these fucks do. I'm bored. And like they're going to look at me and they're going to be like, that motherfucker probably works for Cubans and does some like weird top secret shit. And I do work for Cubans, but not like, that's just Nero, like I don't, I try and look suspicious on a plane.
I never understood the whole like dressing nice for traveling thing. When I get on an airplane, I want to be like in the closest thing I can get to my pajamas while still looking like a normal person, because I hate people who go outside in pajamas. But like I see chicks like traveling in like mini skirts, and I'm like, how do you do that? I just want to, when I get on a plane, I just want to put my head down on the tray and fall asleep until I land.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bring that up when Max said he dresses, because I try and look, well, as nice as I can manage, and it's always a waste of time, because no sooner have you gone through security do you look like a disheveled mess. And after you've been flying for a couple of hours, it looks like you've been repeatedly raped by a giant 6-foot piranha with big legs. And it's a waste of time trying to look nice. I give up. I don't want to fly. I want to be like John Madden and just ride a big bus around while getting fatter. That'd be my dream life, to be rich enough to just butt it to Seattle. We're doing Destructoid Live as well at Seattle, by the way, and another Destructoid panel that Nero's hosting with some people. And Tara as well, you're on that one as well.
I am set to be on it yet. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's about how to run a successful gaming website, and I have no idea how to do that. Nero put me on there so I could get like a badge or something. Not because I could have gotten a badge anyway, but I can't remember the reason. But it was for some important
Tell our
reason.
secrets.
Grits?
Oh, grits.
Grits.
Hello, Holmes.
Hello, Jonathan Holmes.
You're here.
Got any grits? Got any scraps? I just want some meat scraps if you have any.
Oh God, is this you bringing your work home with you again?
No, I just like the word scraps a lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, looks like I have some. I spelled the word angles in my old Shaddai review.
No.
I think I'm going in right now to try to fix a typo. What have I missed on the podcast? I just got home. I've been working all day. I'm so tired, and I just want to complain about it. But first, I want to know how you are.
Max talked about farting into a Nesquik container and keeping it.
We were all talking about farts. It was a fun conversation, I think.
They were talking about farts and being fat and airplanes. And
about farts and airplanes. It's the best episode ever.
That sounds great. Did you talk about the games you played?
Talked about some of them.
You can go now.
Stupid games. Did I talk about games?
You talked to us about Saints Row. And
I played Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet for a little bit.
I haven't played that yet.
It's cute, I guess. I don't know. The thing is like, no matter how cheap a game is, I don't have any damn money right now, so like, I'm just gonna plug in my old 2005 Dell laptop and play some Super Nintendo ROMs instead, because I'm poor.
Yeah, I know.
Sucks.
It's really hard to do this hobby and actually have any money left over for regular.
It's a fucking expensive. It's an expensive industry. Like it. I mean, we kind of like lose sight of that. I feel like sometimes because
I
either you get
download a lot of
review
demos.
Yeah, free demos get you far.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right,
Yeah,
I fixed my angles. But yeah,
Angles is literally the worst spelling mistake.
You mean like you're a bad person if you do it, or
no? I just mean like it's the worst one you can have, like to do.
No, what about your?
No, because they're so obvious, the your and there, that I think anyone who does that should just be shot.
Yeah.
But I feel
you.
sorry for people that do Angle and Angel. I feel for them because that is a genuine, honest mistake you can make. If you do Yor and Yor, like if you mix them up, you're just a cunt.
Somebody's saying that are there 2 gay characters in this game? If so, I'm gonna buy it right now. They're so excited about gay.
What is this gay game you're talking about?
I'm talking about El Shaddai, which is a game I played this week. And I guess that's segueing into me talking about what I played. But my cat is making this horrible.
Do you get to see the Do you actually get to see the Ascension of the Metatron? Because I thought not enough games have Ascension. Like a Metatron's that's ascend. There is one in Silent Hill 3, but it neither ascends nor descends. It's just there.
A Metatron? I forgot about that in Silent Hill 3. That's the one with the daughter, right?
I can't fucking remember. I just remember reading it. But there's been not enough dynamism in any Metatrons that I've experienced lately.
Yeah. What's the difference between a Metatron and a Metabot?
And Megatron.
And Megatron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Megatron in El Shaddai or not? Like,
kind of.
Is he fighting God at the end? He's like, oh, God! Starscream, you idiot!
That voice for Megatron is so good. That makes me so happy. There are Transformers in El Shaddai.
What?
Doesn't look... What? Yeah, people, you look at that game and you're like, oh, I get it. He's a kind of a cute guy. His clothes come off a little bit. He fights some guys. No. Every chapter, they just decide to totally change it on you. There are motorcycles. There are giant Insecticons. There are, robots that form into a bigger robot. Yeah, a lot of stuff happens in that game. They really... It feels like it's... The creator of the game, it's like he was dying, and he was like, oh, Jesus, well, I just have to put every idea I've ever had out there before I die, and just crammed it all into this game. And it's really fun. It really worked for me. But the ending is, oh, God. It's like they just forgot to have it end. It just kind of stops. What am I talking about?
What the fuck is this game about? Because I googled El Shaddai, and it's like, it's the Judaic word for God. So I'm like, Japan, what are you doing?
Well, it's actually not totally Japan's fault. Well, it's kind of... There's... Where do I even start?
You sound like you're dying, by the way.
I'm dying a little bit.
Gasping and licking at the lips and...
I've just been imagining you eating a lot of Starburst over there.
No, I could use some Starburst.
Before I go,
just eating a bunch of Starburst and
about El Shaddai. Carry this story with you, my children, before I die. The time I played El Shaddai.
Just when you're dying, you turn into a prime minister all of a sudden. You just sound like very politically savvy.
It sounds like the kind of prime minister that is ineffectual and being controlled by a silver-tongued vizier. I wish if there's anything I want to do... I watched Aladdin last week, but if there's anything I want in my life, it's to be a silver-tongued vizier that's pulling the strings at court.
Whoa, that's not impossible.
Would that not be amazing? I'd get a beard.
Like Wormtongue?
Yeah, I'd get a beard and I'd be like, you must not listen to the master. Send these men away. You need only listen to my lord. Beelzebub. Boobs.
Hey guys. What if El Shaddai was actually called Al Shaddai, and it was just about you trying to kill a guy named Al?
What if it was?
What if it was a game where you played as Peg Bundy and it was just Al Shaddai, and you just
Al, let's have sex.
Whoa,
new pig.
I don't even know who did that.
Married with Children video game? I feel like they did.
They should have. I don't think they did.
They better have done.
I don't think they did. That would have been on the Game
Boy. Wait, Married with Children, the video game. Wait.
Whoa. Was it PC?
It was for NES. Holy shit, that's fun.
Are you serious?
The game was a typical side-scroller that involved players selecting between Ted, Red, Bud, or Killy.
Holy fuck.
Wow, they couldn't use their actual names. And the stage where you walked down the street dodging bats. Snakes and punching pedestrians. Basically, it's nothing like the movie. Or like the show.
Or the show.
Wow.
Punching bats. Are the bats flying? Are they just sitting there? You just walk up to a bat?
Dodging bats.
Dodging.
In parentheses, bat birds.
I think there should be a new Married with Children game on Connect where the only aim of the game is to sit in your couch and get your hand in your pants at the exact right angle. And then if it lines up with the camera, you have won the game and you get 500 gamer points.
Oh yeah, the gamer points. You got to collect those.
You've got to.
You've got
to. It was actually developed by Nintendo of America.
Whoa, I've
the
got
Home
to find
Improvement game was actually pretty good.
What?
You played as Tim the Tool Man, and you just had to fight dinosaurs.
Oh, was that the one where he ended up on a... that wasn't the one where he was on a film set, or am I confusing that with the Wayne's World one?
I think maybe you were on a film set, but it was Power Tool Pursuit. Wow.
What?
Very loosely based on the hit sitcom Home Improvement. A version for the Sega Genesis was never released. Sega rejected the game, as it would be the same as the SNES version. Yeah, you just go around picking up chainsaws or something. A chainsaw that makes energy. I don't think it was good, Jonathan. It's Home Improvement, the fucking Super Nintendo game.
Well, you never know. You could sneak something in there, something nice. Could be good. Should I, what was I talking about? El Shaddai?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be called Elfredai, and you are Barney Rubble eating Fruity Pebbles. Hey, Fred! Let's eat some Fruity Pebbles, Fred.
El, like the in Spanish, Fred.
Let's go bowling, Fred.
I love Barney a lot.
Elfredai, they go to Spain, right? And they have to find El Dinosauro. Okay, bear with me. This might sound...
No, wait. What if they were the dinosaurs, and they were like dinosaur czars?
Whoa. You like Russian czars?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or drug czars. Whichever.
Is this going somewhere?
We gotta fight communism, Fred! Don't let the fucking Picos take over, Fred!
Yeah, I think of Barney's one. Hey, Fred. Hey. So I think of Barney.
Fuck 'em, Barn! I'm Danny DeVito playing Fred Flintstone!
It had to happen.
Yep.
I can't. I thought I was going to say something profound about El Shaddai. I can't remember what it is.
I'd totally forgotten what the original name of the game was.
El Shaddai, yeah. El, like
Alf Shaddai. Alien life form. The furry penis-nosed thing.
Yeah, it is pretty phallic, isn't it? With the ridges and whatnot.
Damn right.
Yeah. Penis nose. It's a pretty good game. Not everyone's going to like it, though, El Shaddai. They're going to be mad about it, actually. People are going to play it. I know they're going to be all mad.
El Shaddai! Replacing a man's eyes with sheds. Oh, fuck him.
But you haven't gotten profane. You haven't said shat eye or...
I haven't. El Brown Eye. El Bollocks.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Bullfucker. Call it bullfucker.
Bullfucker?
Fucking cunt. Call it shit in my cunt.
Whoa. Ouch. That would hurt.
That's a terrible name for anything, Jim. Why would you think
Apparently
of that?
Ignition wants to do something for our PAX panel, don't they?
Yeah, that's Shane Bettenhausen.
Yeah, he did our Deadly Premonition contest last year. He wants to do something for Destructoid Live. Nick Chester didn't know how we could do an El Shaddai thing contest, and then accidentally suggested a Bible burning. Which we probably couldn't do. I'd be all for it, but apparently we can't. My voice is very teenage today. I don't know if that's picking up.
Sounds cute.
It
Sounds adorable.
I think we should burn some Bibles.
It's adorable. Well, there is a dance sequence in El Shaddai that's pretty good. And if I were to suggest anything, there should be some sort of dance contest.
We've already got one.
Oh, you're right. You're dancing with Sega. So
I will be at Destructoid Live at the Unicorn Theatre, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday, 28th of August, noon. Come fucking look at it, for God's sake.
I'll be there too.
Max Scoville will be joining me on the stage, and we'll have Nick Chester there, and Hamza Aziz and Nero, and all your favourites. So you got to come and watch it, and I'll be doing a dance fighting with Sega to settle the rivalry.
Now, who is it at Sega you'll be dancing against? Can you give us a clue?
Not Sonic the Hedgehog. Unfortunately, it was going to be Sonic, but apparently he cannot make it.
Toe Jam?
Not
Earl?
apparently they have hired a champion in his stead, which doesn't sound good for me. But there you go.
Whoa, did I say testicles in this review? I wrote this review at like 1 in the morning, and I had to go to my day job at like 7, so I'm totally exhausted. A twisted mass of glistening black testicles? Did I say that? And like 4 people proofread it and didn't notice it? Oh, god damn it. Sorry to this is really sad.
That just hit me that was meant to be an accident and you meant to say something else.
I don't know if you really meant testicles or if it's just a slip for tentacles. It does kind of look like testicles in the game, though. So maybe
just leave it.
You know, this just makes me think that maybe all weird hentai has just been a typo all along. Yeah, and then these big testicles come and have sex with her.
Yeah, it is. They're testically. Yeah, testicle. They do that in hentai all the time, I think. Speaking of sexiness, you guys want to talk about Lollipop Chainsaw, I guess?
No, I haven't done my game of the week yet, you cunt.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Aw, sorry, Jim.
Hi, my name's Jonathan Holmes. Let me show up late and ruin the podcast by bossing everyone around.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to host, if you want to host it, show up on time instead of wasting your time with all those fucking druggies, and come on here.
Yeah, why don't you stop hanging out with your drug addict friends, Holmes?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Bunch of no good. You're always late because you're hanging out with drug addicts.
Always
how does that sound?
Sitting there on a low wall, smoking a baked, thinking you're so tough.
What? Is that rap lyrics?
Yes.
What's a low wall?
It's a wall that's about 2 foot high, so you can sit on it. On it, eating drugs, and washing your hair with anthrax, and thinking you are so bloody tough.
I can't think of any use for a 2-foot wall. Is it to, like, keep very small cats?
Hedgehogs wouldn't get through.
Jim, what did you play this week?
Stalker.
Stalker?
Stalker.
What's that?
Stalker, the game about the cartoon stork delivering babies.
That'd be good. I think there was a game like that in the Atari 26.
Well, however you would say it. Yippee-ki-yay! I've been playing Stalker!
That's your American accent?
Boy! Now, I played it on my computer while I was out rustling some cattle and riding on the plane and shooting them engines. Yeehaw, I'm gonna watch Die Hard, the film, now at the movie theater.
It still sounds so British.
Excuse me? I don't think so, sir. I am American, born and bred. I'm wearing cowboy boots and living in a caravan.
You remind me of a mentally retarded man I once knew, and I mean that as a compliment because he was really fun.
Well, then I would say that is a perfect American impersonation. Americans are very low in intelligence. They don't get irony.
People say that about us all the time.
Yes, they do, because it's true.
Is it really true?
Americans are so stupid. I am Lord Haw.
So this mentally retarded guy I knew, he would always try to do accents, like British accents.
This American retarded guy you do.
American...
That, sir, is a trespass of your professional boundaries.
It was a mentally retarded guy. I knew.
Oh, you knew?
Yeah.
Okay, you said that you did.
No, I've never done them.
Have you ever been tempted to, like, as an attractive, like, heroin addict to come in? And you
Can we
just
just do
thought,
one episode where we're not horrible? I just
No.
we're just so horrible.
Max,
We're not bad.
Max, please, okay? This is
I did already talk about the farts, but
yeah, I'm talking.
seriously, Holmes, you ever fuck a retard? Like,
Yeah, that's what, and look,
Yeah.
this is a political discussion because we're talking about gender politics. So, Holmes, have you ever, like, just a proper, like, skeletal skaghead comes in, but she looks attractive in that really sleazy, nasty way, and you're like, well, who are they gonna believe? Me? Me, or the one with a join the dots puzzle running down her fucking arms like Bill Cosby's Picture Time or whatever it fucking was.
Oh, picture pages.
Picture pages, all up and down her arm. All they need is the numbers and Bill Cosby going, I'm making a Boyd house. And you just think to yourself,
Is
go
that
on.
how Bill Cosby talks? I'm
Yes.
making a Boyd house.
I'm making a birdhouse. This isn't racist, by the way. Just want to tell the listeners that. But anyway, just, I mean, at least, like, have you ever, like, slipped a cheeky finger up their bum?
Yeah, because that would be fun. That would.
You might dig out a syringe. That is true.
Yeah. No, I've never had any sexual encounters with.
Not like so it's not been like in Terminator 2 in that bit where they put Linda Hamilton in a bed and he licks her face.
I've never.
you've never done that.
No,
You've never licked Linda Hamilton's face.
Has Linda Hamilton ever been like brought in?
No. No. There are people that definitely look up to her and are like, I'm going to kick all your asses like Linda Hamilton did. And
Jonathan Holmes. Is the Scarecrow one of your patients or not? Has he used his fear toxin on you? Please, I want to know.
Jonathan, do you have a special hallway for Hannibal Lecter and multiple MIGs? And then did Hannibal Lecter tell multiple MIGs to choke on his own tongue for masturbating at Clarice Starling that one time?
Jonathan Holmes. Jonathan, listen to me.
Are you like Barney from Silence of the Lambs?
Jonathan, listen to me. Is Jason Voorhees in there, please?
No. There's nowhere I can.
This is so unprofessional.
It's okay.
Jonathan could lose his job because of us if they ever listen to this.
Nah, they know about it. They're always like, you got to go home early today? You doing your podcast? Hope you make some new fans. You know, they have no idea.
Bless them.
Like.
Have you ever been tempted to play them this podcast in the hope that what drives a sane man mad will drive a madman sane?
No. I hope they never listen to it. It would be embarrassing.
That was a reference, by the way, to the early 2000s House on Haunted Hill film.
Yeah.
That was a nice little obscure pop culture reference there for you.
Was that
I like that film.
Owen Wilson? Owen Wilson in that one?
It had Jeffrey Combs in it.
Oh,
okay. No, Holmes, you're thinking of Anaconda. Owen Wilson was in Anaconda.
There was...
Jonathan Holmes, does the snake from Anaconda live in your hospital?
Have you ever been tempted to have sex with the snake from Anaconda in your hospital, Jonathan Holmes?
Jonathan Holmes, is Scar in there? Is Uncle Scar in there treated for being bad?
From Lion King?
Yeah, is the drug addict woman from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, in there, please? I'd like to know.
It is kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors.
Have you ever worn syringes on a glove and said, what a rush? Or not?
No. I have to say some things, though. Like
Jonathan Holmes.
I'd love to get another question.
What is Michael Myers' favorite food? Does he like Halloween candy?
Jonathan Holmes is the bride of Chucky in there.
Jennifer Tilly? That would be great.
Have you ever been tempted to fuck Jennifer Tilly?
I was really attracted to her. Yeah, when I was 13, she was in that Richard Dreyfuss movie, Let It Ride, and I was...
it's that voice.
Yeah.
She's just a charmer. You just want to get
that voice.
She sounds like she's been smoking cigarettes for 40 years.
Now she's got like special cigarettes that are made out of honey or something, and she's been smoking those and then she's pouring her honey cigarette voice into your ear at night.
It would be great to have her just like licking your ear and then whispering things into it at the same time.
God, I want that.
That'd be fantastic. Jonathan Holmes, by the way, I've always wanted to know this, right? Do you need any special precautions when bringing in the vampire Lestat or not?
I've had a guy who thought he was a vampire, but I think he was just being goofy. When they're saying vampire or when they're saying split personality, usually the test is like, oh, well, if you're a vampire, we probably wouldn't be safe to let you go out on the cigarette walks because you'll burn up in the sun. And all of a sudden, oh, I'm not a vampire anymore. Or split personality. Oh, well, if you got all that many personalities, we have to check all of them for safety, so we can't let you go on the cigarette walks yet. Oh, no, split personality's gone. It goes away just like that. See, it's no fun. Then I get all serious after you guys are having all the fun. I gotta be more fun like you guys. It's my new goal for the day.
Fun.
To be as fun as you.
Okay.
So Jonathan Holmes. What is Frankenstein like?
Have you ever had to fight Frankenstein's monster or not?
What is Count Chocula like in person? No longer a
Excuse me, Jonathan Holmes. How many Draclias are in your hospital?
Yeah.
Do you have any Skeksis?
I've seen a lot of people that look like Skeksis, yeah.
Have you ever been tempted to fuck a Skeksis? No, they're renowned liars. Like, no one's going to believe a Skeksis if they're like, fucked me, he did me in the ass! Chamberlain saw, yes, Chamberlain saw! Chamberlain saw me get fucked in the ass by that lovely nurse! I don't know what ethnicity he is!
There's nothing tempting about having sex with these people.
It'd be so wrong.
It would be pretty wrong. It would just be really dumb.
I don't want to look at videos of women pissing, but it's so wrong. You have to.
You have to. Yeah, no, it happens a lot, actually.
I'm so overexcited now thinking about Jonathan Holmes' Hospital of Monsters.
They're pretty neat people, when
Liam Neeson. It's
Liam Neeson. You're yelling it. Well, you're so excited about it, and you're laughing too.
It's Liam Neeson in it. In the hospital. Does he think he's Qui-Gon Jinn?
Is there a Darth Maul there?
Is there just a Darth Maul there? Just
do you have any Darth? Do you have a Darth Maul?
If you've got two, can I have one?
You could just have to keeps for keepsies. No.
I will trade you my Chancellor Valorum for your Darth. What the fuck are we talking about?
That's a lousy trade. Jesus, I like Darth Maul. I think it's pretty neat. Let's talk about. Did you talk about? You almost talked about Stalker.
Way
back.
I almost talked about Stalker.
Yeah.
I'm on a real kick at the moment because I love big dumb video games, as y'all know. Dynasty Warriors, Serious Sam, that kind of just run and gun, big bang, I cut his head off, you cunt, that type of game. But as you know, I played Deus Ex to prepare for Human Revolution, and I've been playing Divine Cybermancy, which I talked about in depth last week. So I'm on a real kick for the complete opposite of that, and at the moment I've been playing games like Serious Sam 3, which I've been previewing, and Space Marine, and Dead Island, which are all these really visceral, gory things. And then I'm playing these really slow-paced, almost role-playing, but not quite shooters. So Stalker is just... that's up there with, the deepest of the deep. I installed the complete 2009 mod, which you need to do, I've been told. And that did make the game a lot more enjoyable than it was the first time I tried to play, but it's like... what did I say it was like? It was like sandpaper on the scrotum. It's just one of those games that just... It will fight you every step of the way while all you want to do is come. It is really... I mean, but it becomes really engrossing if you can get over it. You just have to be prepared for the fact that anything can and will kill you. It's one of those games, one of those really oppressive, I don't feel safe anywhere games, where you have to save before and after you do anything. So, yeah, I mean, I can be in a one-on-one fight with a guy, and if he gets a lucky headshot or whatever, it's all over. So it's really a tense, paranoid game. Similar to Metro in a lot of ways, because, I mean, it's a Ukrainian game, so it's that whole sort of area. And these guys over in Russia, Ukraine, that area, all of Eastern Europe, that sort of thing, they love games like this. Just these really dark, but not in a way that Westerners appreciate dark. It's not dark and gritty. It's just real dark. Like, just a gruesome, grey, bleak, there's no hope reality to them. And I love it. And I've become really into that sort of thing. Whereas before, I wouldn't touch this shit. So it's been really nice for me to get into that kind of stuff and play Stalker, where it feels like I'm surviving. It doesn't feel like I'm ever winning. A victory is I played for half an hour and didn't have to restart 5 times. And you've got to make sure you're always eating, you've got to make sure that you don't starve to death, and you've got to make sure that you don't die of radiation poisoning, and you've got to make sure you sleep. And it goes really into the survival thing. I think the mod made it a bit more user-friendly, so it's not totally harsh, because you can get to a point where it becomes too real to be fun, and that was what I thought about Stalker when I first started playing it. Then I installed this mod, and it seems a bit more lenient. But yeah, fascinating game, absolutely fascinating. So that's good. So we've talked about Fallout 3, Saints Row 2, and Stalker. So if this podcast had come out in 2007, this would be a fantastic podcast. But I do want to briefly talk about some new shit, which I can talk about, and is very new to the point where it's not out. Did I talk about Dead Island on the last Podtoid? I don't
really.
think I did.
No,
Yeah.
Sarah's talked about it a little bit in the past, but I think that's been about it.
Yeah, I have been playing Dead Island. I can only talk about the first hour of it, and plus the other build I've got doesn't work, so I've been really upset. I've been crying at this dev kit disc of Dead Island, screaming, "Why won't you work?" But I can play the first hour on my preview build, and that is a game. That is...
Oh, yeah.
That is quite something. Now, everything I say about the game will make it sound like I hate it, when I kind of love it. But I kind of hate it. It's a weird one. It's one of those weird ones where I'm still not quite sure, and I think I'm going to need to play a lot more than an hour, because it's got a lot of problems, and these are the Call of Juarez guys, and it is definitely a Techland game. It is rough, and it is very hard to do the melee stuff, but at the same time, it is fucking terrifying. That game is scary as shit.
Really?
To the point where I am afraid to play it single player. Because, 4 people against 4 zombies is a tough fight. And we're so used to zombies being more of a distraction than anything. Like in Left 4 Dead, you're blasting away at dozens of them with pistols. In Dead Rising, you're smashing them to pieces. They're there more as a toy to be played with. Mm-hmm. This, you feel like they're their chew toy. It's fucking terrifying. You're on your own. You can't fight 5 of them. You can't. You need to just run. And I love that. I really appreciate that this game has turned zombies into a credible threat once more.
Well, what makes them so hard?
They're just fucking...
Sorry, I was going to say, you're like... When I played it, I noticed that I became very aware of how small you are compared to the zombies, because some of them are freaking massive, and they'll, charge at you. And it's really kind of disturbing in a way. But also kind of surprising and shocking, because sometimes they do come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and their ability to melee you is about on par with your ability to melee them. So if you miss, which is frequent, and I don't know if that's deliberate or just a fault of the perspective, but if you miss, they will punch you and knock you on your ass. And while you're struggling to get up, you'll see their feet while you're looking at the ground, like just surrounding you, and you're like, I am fucked. And,
so do they bite you or they just beat you up?
they will mostly kick the
Are
shit
they
out of
zombies
you.
or just jerks?
Yeah, they just sound like big jerks.
I think the idea is that you can't be infected, so I think they just content themselves with kicking you around.
Gotcha.
They will beat the fuck out of you, kind of like, I guess, the 28 days later infected. But some of them will try and bite you, and you might think they're a dead body on the floor. You walk past them and then just jump up and grab you, and then get their face right in yours, and you have to press the left shoulder button to push them back, and then the right shoulder button to punch them in the face and knock them to the ground.
Yeah.
And you've only got a limit.
I played for about, I think, 10 minutes at E3, and it was kind of just dropping me into the middle of everything. And I was playing next to someone who was playing, like, I think The Darkness 2, and for some reason they had sound, but I didn't. So they have a game where everything makes a lot of fucking noise for pretty much no reason, and I'm playing a game where I want to hear what's creeping up on me. So that sucked, but the whole, like, them coming at you and you having to, like, knock them back and then hit them again, that, I don't know, I got fed up with that pretty quick. I want to play the game. I, like, really want to play the game. I just, like, it doesn't seem like the kind of game you can, like, try out, really.
No, it needs, I mean, even with an hour, I don't feel like I've seen enough. I really want to get to grips with it, and I don't think until I can sit down and really experience the whole thing. But there's just, in a way, you were lucky to not play it with sound, because the sound is it's the most shitting uppingest bit, because you can be walking along a deserted road, and then you will just hear and you know they've seen you, and you can't see them. And maybe they're in that forest clearing to the left. Maybe they're round a corner. You don't know where they are. Unlike in Dead Rising, where zombies are everywhere, these zombies can come from anywhere. And there's not that many of them, but they are fucking tough and very vicious. And they've got no bones about coming up behind you if they see you. And nothing is more just dread-inspiring than seeing, like, 5 dead bodies in the middle of the road. You are about 20 feet away, and they all just start slowly sitting up. And they all get to their feet, they turn round, see you, and then and they just run at you, blisteringly fast.
I hate fast zombies.
Max and I are actually, like, the weekend after that game comes out, we're doing like an all-nighter with Bitmob, where we do a playthrough of Dead Island. And they were trying to organize it with us, and they're like, well, it's a 25 to 30 hour game, so it might take up the whole weekend. And I was just sitting there reading my email like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this game, like, the entire way through.
I'm sort of thinking about it, and it's gonna be really fucking cool, because we're probably gonna go a little bit crazy. Like, we're probably gonna sort of think that there are real zombies. This doesn't seem like a good game to sit up all night playing.
It really doesn't.
We're probably gonna lose our shit.
I'm an incredibly unpleasant person on less than 8 or 9 hours of sleep.
Oh, I know. Even then, I don't want to piss you off.
I'm not at 100%.
You'll fucking turn your rings around. It's gonna be and me, I'm, you guys saw me playing fucking Dead Space 2. I'm a gigantic baby woman. I get scared of stuff. I'm gonna be the guy who goes back at the zombies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't scare easy in video games. And I'm not saying that to show off. I find it legitimately upsetting, because I like to be scared of stuff, and video games rarely do it for me. But that, I was panicking, because, and I didn't even panic in Left 4 Dead, but this was just, it's the screams and the fact they've seen you and you haven't seen them yet. And you have to make sure you see them before they come to you, because if they get near you, they will hit you. There's no escaping that. If they get close enough, they will fucking hit you. So you need to make sure you see them coming, so that when they get, say, about 5 feet in front of you, you lift your leg up and kick them in the face so they fall right on their ass. which is always fun.
We're doing this co-op because, like, if I was just on my own, I wouldn't play the game. I'd be like, oh, we're hanging out in this cabana shack. Oh, lovely. I'm just gonna stay here. There's a bikini girl. You know, she's injured. Probably needs medicine. That's probably what that quest is for. But I'm just gonna chill here with her. The power of prayer will save her from zombie bites.
I wonder.
Like,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm such a, I guess, a wuss. I guess that's the word for it. But there are games where, like, I'll enjoy the game, but I'll get past a scary part and I'll just sort of be like, I'm just gonna stay here for just a minute. Like,
oh, sure.
Just, like, I know that nothing's gonna kill me right here, so it's kind of like going into cold water very gradually. But yeah, I wanted to play S.T.A.L.K.E.R. I actually, I think I downloaded it a while ago, but I didn't. I don't have a computer now, so don't pirate games, kids, because your computer will blow up literally. Anyway, I tried to play it and I couldn't get it to work, and then I read up on it and I was like, this sounds really upsetting. Like, there's like Chernobyl ghosts trying to kill you.
Oh god, yeah! Don't get me started on the mutants and the monsters. There's one that pulls your mind out of your body. It's fucking horrible. Like, there's just this really creepy, hunched over, vaguely humanoid figure at the end of a really long corridor, and suddenly your first-person view just whizzes all the way down the corridor, goes right up to its face, it stares at you, and then it just shoves you back. So it gives this impression that your brain and vision have just been pulled out of your body, dragged over to the monster, and it's punched it back into you. It's unpleasant. Yeah.
There needs to be a new genre of game that's not so much scary or challenging as it is just upsetting.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a
well, I think they just call them European. I think that's what it is. There is this very European sensibility, like some of the most terrifying and but on a really weird paranoid level games I've played, and I include in that Metro, the S.T.A.L.K.E.R. and the other one. What was it? Cold. No, there is there's one set on a Russian submarine, and that one is fucked up.
I can't remember what that is. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, my ex told me about the time she went backpacking through not like Chernobyl, but it was Bratislava. Like former Soviet, like, just really weird kind of Eastern Europe areas where you're kind of like, what's going on here? And there's all this, like, kind of leftover, like, Soviet kind of buildings, weird, checkpoints and stuff like that. And she was saying that she and her three friends are just, it sounded like a horror movie, like a really terrible experience. And she was saying she was walking along this lonely stretch of road that, had been built in probably the 70s. Like, it wasn't old road or anything. And they came to this toll booth or this checkpoint, and there was no one there. And then they saw something sort of in the distance that looked, not like a worn down old thing. And it was a fresh, dirty diaper just sitting on the side of the road. And there was no one in sight for miles.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
No wonder their games are fucked up.
Yeah, I'm like, if that's like, I don't know. If that's what it's like normally, maybe then maybe the video games are like cheerful by comparison or something. I don't know.
The game I was talking about was Cryostasis, by the way.
Oh, okay, that sounds right. I think the Japanese are fairly, at least for a while, they worked pretty hard to make stuff that just made you feel bad. I think Silent Hill did that pretty well. And you ever heard of Michigan? Michigan?
I don't think
so. Is that a game?
Yeah, Michigan's a game. And you are on a camera crew.
Oh, isn't that the Swery? Didn't Swery work on that?
I know Suda51 did. I'm not sure if
Swery did too. Maybe I got them confused.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever came out here. I think it might have come out in Europe. And just like really, bad things happen and you have to film it and just watch it happen and decide how much you're going to be a member of the press who's not going to interfere with the event as it's happening, and whether you're actually going to help the people who are tied up and have like spikes going into their thighs and they're screaming and people are sticking their butts out and all sorts of there's butts and
Holmes,
thighs.
why don't you play that?
I haven't played it. I've just watched
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah, it's called
That
Michigan.
makes it. That's actually pretty funny. That's a funny name for it.
Yeah, people really want it to come back, Michigan.
One thing I think is really interesting when you look at kind of horror genres is just the sort of different cultural upbringing. Like the Japanese have a lot of sort of a lot of ghosts, a lot more ghostly stuff, and there's a lot more kind of emphasis on ancestor worship and spirits and stuff. Like that's much more of a like demons and ghosts are much more of like a believable thing.
Sure.
And then I think it's, I don't know if this is, I don't know, in like S.T.A.L.K.E.R, for instance, it seems in that kind of that very cold sort of isolated I guess my sense of Eastern Europe.
It is set in like a fictional version of the Chernobyl area, which is probably like, I guess they do have a lot of bleak history. And that might inform the way their games are made. I mean, not only things like Chernobyl, but just the war that goes on over there and the rigors of various communist regimes. And it must inform, they must have a very grounded
there is also,
outlook.
I mean, Russia is a huge country, and there is, I mean, undoubtedly, if you're in a really small town, there's a lot of like isolation there. I mean, you have the same thing kind of, I know... In America, there's that too. There's that kind of weird fear of just small town isolation, which you see in Friday the 13th or Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Deliverance or something like that. It's just weird, the different things that make people scared of stuff.
Oh sure. They love zombies in Japan too, and have for a while, for longer than we have. I remember there was a lull in zombie movies. They weren't really making them in the United States anymore, so if I wanted to see them, I had to import from Japan consistently.
Well, the psychology behind zombies is really interesting because some people are scared of it because it's represents disease, and then other people are like, oh, it's something that is human in form but represents death. And then in other cases, people are like, those are my friends, but I have to kill them because they're not my friends anymore. So it's
right that your friends can turn on you. Oh yeah.
It's like death, disease, and betrayal all at once. Like it's kind of it depends how you look at it.
Absolutely.
I don't think zombies are inherently very scary.
My
kind of like supernatural stuff to be scarier. Like ghosts.
No, I'm the same. Zombie stuff have also been a great
funnily enough, you mentioned isolation. That's actually what my wife says is that's what's always scared her about zombies is not so much the zombies themselves, but the breakdown of society that often comes with it, and they often talk about that. And isolated.
Yeah, they
people.
are. They're kind of walking extinction. It's like this in your face. They're kind of a weird, caricature of a natural disaster almost.
Yeah, and the idea that humans aren't like the dominant species, and there's something else that's like them, but better at killing than they are. And I guess human demotion in nature is a very scary thing to people. Because they're so confident and comfortable at the moment that the idea they could get knocked off their pedestal by something better is probably quite terrifying. I say as if I'm not a human.
Those foolish humans. If you look at Romero's movies, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead, and then the more recent ones, which I haven't seen. But
I've
those
got
are
no respect
those are like
for Romero, by the way.
Huh? You have no respect
ever or in recent stuff?
I liked Day of the Dead. The others, I'm sorry. Let's get a Hindu zombie and a clown zombie and a nurse zombie all together. Don't they look funny? And paint them bright blue. Yeah, idiot. He turns zombies into jokes. That's the problem, and they're only like vehicles for whatever satirical point.
He made it satire. He made a horror movie that was secretly satire, which I thought was kind of cool.
I think it's smart.
Also, I love Night of the Living Dead.
Wanking about how great he was.
You think so?
I think that's more recent years, but I don't know. The first one, Night of the Living Dead, it's just a bunch of like panicked idiots. They're coming to get you, Barbara, and then they get stuck in this house together, and then the only guy who has any fucking common sense is the black dude who's just like, okay, you guys, we have to get the fuck out of here or go in the basement. Pick one, and they're like, you're just trying to get us separated. You're just trying to fend for yourself, and then the black guy ends up getting shot by the cops at the very end after being the only one who survives. So it's like, everyone should see that movie if I haven't ruined it for you, by the way. Night of the Living Dead, the original.
Well, yeah, it's part of the fun. Yeah.
I don't know. Fucking Dawn of the Dead's boring as fuck.
Oh, I like it.
Boring as fuck. And I'm sorry, I thought the remake wasn't better.
I like them both. Yeah, they're both fun.
Remakes were fun.
But I was going to say about zombie games, and why I'm worried about Dead Island from what you've said, is what happens when you get more powerful and the zombies, you just kill them pretty easily. That's what always happens in Resident Evil games.
I mean, I played, when I played the E3, I had unlimited money and access to a lot of top-tier weapons, so I had exploding knives and electrified katanas and things like that, and the zombies were still threatening. They still felt threatening.
I think they get harder because there are certain areas of the games where there's a specific class of zombies. They have like several different classes.
You can get like ones that spew poison and big ones in straitjackets that charge at you.
Oh, those were the scary ones.
I really like in games when there's a clear escalation of monster sizes, when there's not just like grunts and then there's slightly bigger grunts and then there's like the bosses. I thought that Left 4 Dead almost hit it with like the tank and the hunter and the witch, but they were too kind of they were too much like mascots almost. Like they were like, oh, we got a hunter, oh, it's the tank, and then they'd come out and be like, oh, I know how to kill them. Like, it's much scarier if you just kind of come up on them and you're like, oh, that's a fucking huge zombie with 8 arms. What am I going to do?
Yeah, I still think
it helps that the zombies definitely aren't mascots in Dead Island because they're fucking... Like, whereas the hunter looks kind of cool, like there's a coolness to the special infected of Left 4 Dead, these guys are all just fucking ugly. And not in this game looks like shit. They look just gross.
Well, the one in the straitjacket's a little... I don't know, maybe I just have a straitjacket thing, but I'm always kind of like, really? Straitjacket? That's a little goofy. I don't think they even make those anymore. Why was he in a straitjacket? Yeah, it's just one of those things.
They're on a fucking tropical retreat.
That was my first question when I saw the first screenshot. I was like, were they taking mentals to a beach holiday or something?
Maybe it was
usually... And they're really muscular, right? They're like the
Jonathan Holmes, have you ever taken an 8-foot tall madman in a straitjacket on a beach holiday?
Jonathan Holmes. Have you been on a vacation with the Incredible Hulk for your job? And if you have you had sex with the Incredible Hulk? Would you? You don't have to tell me, but please tell me later.
Jonathan Holmes, how'd you get the Alien Queen in a bus?
Yeah, she is big. But are people still scared of people with a mental illness? Is that like effective to be like, oh, he's in a straitjacket, watch out?
I feel more safe if someone's in a straitjacket.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't get the whole thing. And with what was it? Dead Space 2, how it starts in like a scary mental hospital.
Well, I mean, that's different because the main character's in a straitjacket and all these monsters are coming to get him and you're stuck in a straitjacket.
Yeah, that
was pretty scary. Like, there were no enemies in straitjackets and stuff.
Well, there was the guys you'd walk by, they'd be like, gonna kill myself now. And I'm like, That's
actually... there's... The thing about that is, it's the same people as well. Like, it drives everyone mental. Right. And the actual heroes of that game, and the friendly characters, tend to be actual mental patients, and they're not actually mental, they've been driven to certain things by this thing called the marker. And I think they did mental illness quite well, because they kind of blended it into the game and made it part of the player character. It wasn't just look at the scary mental people.
Sure. It definitely could have been worse.
I do get what you mean about just the stereotypical axe crazy guy in a straitjacket. It is a bit too...
Yeah.
I don't
it's
like the
weird.
design of Dead Space 2 because a lot of it looks cool. Like the monsters, they look like head crabs, but they look kind of cool still. But
Mhm.
as for like construction equipment or a mental hospital, why would anything ever look like that? I mean, if you've ever been in a
Yeah.
fucking hardware store in your life, you'd have to realize that at some point in the next like 50 years, everybody who ever had an industrial design degree would just do a whole lot of hard drugs because there's no way anyone would dress up like a fucking knight in shining armor to go out and mine for shit. Like,
Well, with all due respect, Max, you are not from the future, so you don't know.
I could be a futurist. I don't know. That's what I love about Blade Runner and Aliens is it's totally a believable used future.
No,
and
it's
then you
not.
get stuff like have
you seen the size of the fat monitors they use in Aliens? We're all flat screen now.
Okay, aside from that, I mean, they also had flying cars, but apparently Twitter is more important than a flying car, so that's what people decided to fucking invent.
Yeah, it's true.
I bet people saw that movie, Aliens, and they were like, man, I was going to invent that robot. Oh, well, I guess I'll invent social networking instead, because if we invent power loaders, we're going to get xenomorphs. Probably.
Shake weight.
I would love to see a contemporary Aliens where it's burst out of my Facebook profile. Fuck. And instead of like the dog alien in Alien 3, you've got half alien, half Farmville.
That is the worst idea for anything.
That's brilliant.
It's cute.
It's terrible.
That's terrible.
I have to get inside my Instagram and fight it.
Terrifying, more like.
It reminds me of Spaceballs for some reason. That's a compliment. Spaceballs.
I want to see a video game that has a really realistic mental hospital.
Well, Insane is coming out soon. Insane.
Does that
in
look
2013?
Yeah, soon.
right? Guillermo.
Insane.
Okay, that's Guillermo del Toro doing it.
Is that even about crazy people?
That's not going to have realistic. That's not going to have realistic.
We don't have any idea what it's about, right?
I think I said this in an email. To me, it's like if they called it diabetes. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, you've got a biochemical imbalance. Wow. It's like so boring. Insane. Sorry, I'm being kind of mean today.
Your foot might come off.
No, it's a weird Connect game.
There was a mental
diabetes.
hospital. There was a mental hospital level in what do you call it in this country? Indigo Prophecy. Of Fahrenheit. What do you mean? Ha 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 ha.
It's all right.
I'm just going to point out because I can't remember it very well. I just remember there being one in and it being kind of a unique kind of take on it. Don't you have to like sneak in the dark and not be spotted by any mentors or something?
Yeah.
I probably should stop calling them mentors.
No, it's all right.
I've been for the past few episodes referring to people with like emotional and brain problems as mentals.
I just take it like you're saying homies. It's just like, my peeps.
What should I be calling them? Spastics or not?
Oh.
Idiots.
Call them motards. Motards.
What's that
I don't know
mean?
what that means. I heard
Is
it
that like
somewhere.
Motowns? That sounds cool.
Motards. It's like, I don't know.
I hate that commercial on TV where they say we can't use the word retard anymore.
They have a commercial.
Don't call your friends the R word. I don't call my friends the R word. I call them fucking window lickers. So, can I still say that or not? Can I start calling them Wyatt Derps or not?
That's a good one.
If they tell me I can't use the word retard, that's fine. I've got a sack full of words I can use for them.
Yeah,
what I can't stand is how, from a language standpoint, the amount of syllables that get tacked on every new iteration of political correctness. Like it used to be like, oh yeah, he's stupid. No, he's an idiot. No, he's a moron. No, he's retarded. No, he's mentally handicapped. No, he's handicapable challenged-ocrat or something. It's just like it's a fucking word. Like if you're using it as a mean thing, it's a mean thing, and if you're not, then it's not. What's the fucking problem?
And I'm sorry, the last thing we need to do is make more words sacred. because, in my opinion, the reason why certain racist and certain homophobic words are powerful is because people are afraid to say them at all. And that's why you get people saying the N-word on a news report when they're talking, even if they're talking about, like, in, what was the book? Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah.
Recently, where they took the word out, and people were going, they took out the N-word. The word's nigger. And if we're talking about that word in context, about the word, then it should be able to be said. Because if we refer to it as the N-word, that is like when you're a kid and your parent puts something up on a high shelf and says you can't have it, and you want it more, and it becomes a mystical, sacred object. And I fucking hate the last thing we need.
All the people at Hogwarts are like, don't say Voldemort.
Exactly.
It's just a word, and then you find out it's actually giving him power.
And then he's just sat there going, I tell you what, I also use the word retard. Copious amounts. Lucius,
make it up, Rick.
Lucius, come here, you fucking retard. Now, Lucius, I want you to say the words, I want you to say the N-word, and I want you to say it properly. Go on, Lucius, say it in front of everybody. I can't, my lord. Please don't make me say the N-word. Say it properly. Nigger! Oh, he said it, everybody! He's racist! Yeah!
Well, isn't it good to...
away from my point, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think you made the good point. Isn't it good to know what people are thinking, and they should be able to use the words to let you know what they're thinking? Like, if I want to know when people are racist, I don't want them to be, like, afraid to tell me, because then I won't know.
Well, the thing is racists get power when you tell them that certain words are sacred and it affects people negatively. If a racist knows he can say a racial slur to a black guy, and the black guy gets really upset and offended, who's won there?
Right.
You know, the fucking racist. And I got in trouble once because on Podtoid, on the earlier ones, I had a Scribblenauts hat, and I was really happy about it. And I said, this nigger's got one. And people, some people were like, oh, you shouldn't say that. And I'm like, why? It's not racist. In fact, there's nothing sillier than a white guy with an English accent and a very high voice referring to himself as a nigger, you know?
That is pretty funny.
Fucking ridiculous. And I think words like that should be made ridiculous, because then they're powerless. And that's the way I think, but... You know, I'm very much alone in that, in terms of the grand scope of things. And that's why people like Voldemort can be all, Lucius, tell Draco he's an F word for gay. what they call the gays. He's a faggot, my lord. Everybody! Lucius is a homophobe. My wife and I play a little game called Trolldemort, where we take turns being Voldemort, humiliating Lucius Malfoy.
What do you do to Lucius? Isn't Voldemort kind of just like a shitty uncle? Like, he shows up and he's like, oh, the Malfoys have been good enough to let me stay here. Oh, I'm a criminal. Oh, Lucius, bring me some bacon.
Well, the thing is, he's because in the films he's an arsehole to Lucius, and we just took it he'll sit there and everybody take turns criticizing Lucius.
Like, oh, that's why Draco's a little shit. He's got a crappy home life.
Yeah.
And he's evil.
Bellatrix, why don't you tell everybody what you think of Lucius's hair? Clue, you don't like it. Anyway,
that's the best part.
That's enough movies. Voldemort bollocks.
We're all going watch the Patriot and make a fart noise every time Lucius is on the screen.
Everybody, we're going to watch Animal House tonight. Lucius, it's as far as I understand, it's your favourite film, isn't it? Yes, my lord, it's very much. Well, you're going to sit at the back with the Dementors. They're going to suck the joy out of you, so you'll know it's funny, but you won't be able to laugh, because only I can find Animal House funny. Harry Potter. Okay.
I would love to see a sitcom, like, fuck Rowling making other Harry Potter books. I just want to see a sitcom about Voldemort being a jerk in the Malfoy household.
We could call it Volley and Lucy.
Who's Lucy again? I forgot.
I love Lucius.
Yeah, I hate Lucius.
Oh, Lucius.
Oh, Lucius, you got some explaining to do.
Lucius, we're all going to eat delicious Ritz crackers now. I've got you some dog food. You've got to eat it with a knife and fork like a dignified lady, and tell everyone.
Oh, I'm going to play with G.I. Joes, but not you, Lucius.
You've got
You're going to play
GoBots.
with those little ponies. It's just like I had a friend named Ronnie when I was a kid who was kind of like Voldemort, I guess. I mean, in this sense, I don't know if he's really like that, but he, he'd be like, "Yeah, you want to come over? Oh, cool. Yeah, me and Stefan, we're gonna be playing with GI Joes. You can play with this one. He's an astronaut." And I'm like, "It's just a spaceman figure. This isn't a real American hero. This is a fake American guy. This is just a random dude."
Oh,
Like,
Ronnie.
"Yeah, play Super Nintendo." And I remember Ronnie was the motherfucker who made fun of me for moving the controller with my hands while I was playing video games.
What?
And I was like, the second the Wii came out, I was like, "Haha, take that, you little shit, Ronnie. I've been practicing."
You still talk to Ronnie sometimes?
No, I found out last I heard about Ronnie, he oh god, he impregnated two 13-year-olds and they both had miscarriages.
Oh,
And
Ronnie.
I was like, Ronnie was a dick.
Classic
Like-
Ronnie.
I had a friend kind
Having
of like
somebody from your
Voldemort.
childhood you hate, and then finding out it was okay to hate them all this time.
He's
Yeah,
getting scrapes, he's getting in japes, he's got himself in statutory rape. It's Ronnie.
Hey, play G.I. Joes?
Wow. Can
Ronnie
I
the
even
shithead.
It's tough to keep up with you guys. I'm gonna try. Real quick.
I outpaced myself long ago.
Yeah.
I think I've already lapped myself. I don't know where. Imagine lapping yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
What were we talking about?
I'm gonna tell my Voldemort friend story.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be dominant for a moment and
Okay.
take
Ooh.
control of the
Oh,
podcast. Yeah, it's
are
gonna
you
be.
gonna? Oh.
Jonathan Holmes, have you ever
Yeah.
tried to have sex with Sirius Black when you go to work at Azkaban?
No. His teeth are really bad sometimes in those movies. Gary Oldman. Oldman? Is that it? Or Oldman?
Oldman.
Oldman.
Very old man.
So I had a friend, he loved Final Fight 3. He'd play it every day for a year. He just beat it over and over again. And there are multiple paths in Final Fight 3. I'll give him that. He would explore it. And he'd just cackle madly whenever he beat up someone like, I got him! I got him! With the same guy. So he never get sick of just hurting people in Final Fight 3. He's so excited about it. And we'd go to parties, and he would have a car. He had a huge car with like a big trunk, and it'd seat like 7, but he'd be like, "You can't come with me." I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "'Cause you didn't pay for the car." I'm like, "I know, but you're going anyway." And he's like, "Your extra weight will take up too much gas." I'm like, "I'll give you gas money." He's like, "I don't need your charity." I'm like, "So you're gonna make me walk to the party even though you're driving alone in your car that seats like 7 and has a huge trunk?" He's like, "Uh-huh. Yeah."
Wow.
He's a real dick. Yeah, he's a real dick. He
Awesome.
called me late at night one night at 2 in the morning. He's like, "I kissed the old man, and I'm sorry. And he didn't. His tongue was really nice. And I'm gonna put my car in the road and then put my head on the road and hope somebody smashes it."
Wow.
Wait.
I haven't
What?
talked to him since. Yeah. I kissed
What did he
the old man. He kissed the old man, I guess.
You never found out who? It's not the old man from popular History Channel show Porn Stars, is it?
I don't know. I called him the next
Kissed an
day.
old man, and then he wanted to try to run over his car with his.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna put my car in the road. Now I'm gonna put my head on the road."
So was he an out gay man, or
No.
and just gross because he kissed an old one, or?
He was not out, and he didn't date any guys that I knew of. He'd talk about girls sometimes. He'd mostly just want to play Final Fight 3 and cackle. Yeah.
And then he kissed an old man. No,
I think so.
Old man.
I called him the next day and was like, "Hey, you okay?" He's like, "I'm perfectly fine." I'm like, "That's great. Do you remember that phone call from last night?" He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He'd also tell people that I tried to kill him, but I never did, believe it or not. He's like, "John tried to kill me. He pulled a knife on me. He was going to stab me with it." I'm like, "I didn't do that." And they're like, "Well, it's your word against his." I'm like, "Yeah, well, he's okay." I just have to walk away from it. Yeah. He was a good friend. Haven't seen him in a while. Haven't seen him in a few years. That's my story.
Wow. I don't even know how to follow that one up.
Yeah, that's how I feel when you guys talk all the
shit!
time.
I just remembered the most fucked up part of the Ronnie story.
Oh, there's
I don't
more?
want to one up you, but this is
No,
totally
do
gonna
it.
fucking. Okay. So when I hung out with Ronnie, this was like way out in the country, and it was just me and Ronnie and Stefan. And Stefan was actually pretty cool, but I didn't have any friends in Connecticut because I was just sort of sort of telecommuting or I don't know. Anyway, staying with family in the country there, and his Ronnie's grandpa had this like cabin. This is like such a fucked up story. It is. I swear to God, it's not as weird as it sounds, but it's pretty fucked up.
It's pretty good.
His grandpa had this cabin. And his grandpa had like a really big dog, or like a couple of really big dogs. So like he had like a kennel in the corner. And one time me and Ronnie and Stefan are at this grandpa cabin. And we're playing with I think we were playing with He-Man figures that were like for some reason at his grandpa's house. And he's like, hey Max, I dare you to go in that dog kennel. And I'm like, why? And he's like, no, just go in it. It's pretty cool. It's like, it's like a little playhouse. And I'm like, it's kind of like a cage. And he's like, no, you should just go in it. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm stupid. So I go in this fucking giant cat carrier, and fucking Ronnie goes behind the couch and comes up with a fucking Indiana Jones bullwhip and starts whipping the cage.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I think I was like kind of upset, but I didn't want to like act upset because I'm trying to impress Stefan and fucking Ronnie. And Ronnie's grandpa came around, Mike, who was just like, Ronnie, what the fuck are you doing? Like your friend's in a giant dog cage and you're whipping him. So Ronnie got in trouble for that. And
He whipped through the cage onto you?
He was just whipping the cage while I was in there, which didn't really do much. It was just kind of startling and weird and looked really bad.
Or was it just
I think he was into it. He's probably like, yeah, whipping the guy in the cage. Like, so yeah, Ronnie got in trouble for that, and suddenly the whole impregnating 13-year-olds thing doesn't seem quite as. It seems, yeah, Ronnie was a fucker. Ronnie was just a fucker. Like,
sounds difficult.
Take that, Ronnie.
I've never met a guy I liked named Ronnie.
There's a professional wrestler, bodybuilder named Ronnie Coleman.
He's playing his games, he's feeling his rage, he's whipping Max Scoville there in a cage. It's Ronnie! That's me! Get the cat carrier, Max!
Good times.
Tara,
Do
you have any insane or upsetting friends that you'd like to talk about?
Not so much, really. I do a pretty good job of eliminating toxic people from my life.
That sounded sinister.
Yeah, well, it was meant to. I won't tell you by which them, but
well, the way you said it, I'm guessing only after they eliminated are they toxic.
They're toxic both before and after, but in very different ways.
Huh. Yeah, you don't seem like you would put up with any.
I'm a pretty no-nonsense person.
I don't give Tara any shit because for some reason I feel it would go badly for me.
It would.
Like last night, I thought to myself, on Podtoid tomorrow, I'm going to call Tara a fucking bitch. It's going to be hilarious. And then I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for Max to do it and hide behind his back laughing.
Oh, Max would never do that.
Never do it.
No.
I mean, I always give Tara shit on the show, but like, I'm nice, right, Tara? Right?
Yeah. No, Max is nice to me.
See?
As he should
fucking
be.
YouTube.
Yeah, because he has to
Bunch
be.
of idiots.
I've seen it go poorly, actually. I won't name names, but I've seen it go poorly when people were like, "Oh, we'll see how far I can push this," and it doesn't go their way. Yeah.
You see, people think that I think I worry that it sounds like I'm ignoring Tara on the show. I'm just scared. I don't want to be attacking Tara with the way I do with like horrible concepts I do with the others, because I just think one day I'll wake up at an event at a trade show and not have a face.
I will not carp your face off at PAX if you piss me off. I promise.
It just feels bad. It just feels bad.
No, yeah. It's actually the first female host who I've not gone out of my way to upset. In fact,
I guess so.
I'm fairly certain that Tiff Chow, who was the last lady host, and that was many years ago, I believe I'm probably part of the reason why she's... I believe I once offered her that if she ever needed someone to come in on or around her, I would be on call. And
I feel like you said worse things to me, though. Maybe not directly at me, but in front of me.
The thing is, though, she was fragile.
Aw. I've always got along with
You had a fragile lady on Podtoid?
Yeah,
She likes really gross stuff, though. We've talked about... Tiff and I have
She didn't
talked
like
about...
my gross stuff. Maybe because it was just coming from me. I once left a message. The last contact I ever had with her, I left a message on her phone. We recorded it on an older Podtoid, and I told her something about wanting to bang Steve Weeby's wife so hard that she turns into David Bowie on the genetic level. And she never responded. I don't think she likes any of the old Podtoid hosts.
That's too bad. I like her a lot. She's really nice.
Because she did something like she said she didn't have time to do podcasts with us anymore, and then like 2 weeks later she was on someone else's.
Well, she wasn't on Detoid for that long after that, right?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. She's not into... She doesn't write news for any other site, I don't think. She's more into developing games at this point.
Oh, good for her. I'm just not caught up with her. I liked her. I just always got the feeling after she left Podtoid that she didn't like us.
Oh, I don't know. I doubt that. Maybe she just didn't know what to say. Speaking from personal experience, when you and Max go on a tear, sometimes I'm just rendered completely speechless. I'm loving it, but like, how do you follow it up?
It's hard to interject.
Yeah, you just want
at that point.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying that as fact.
You want it to just keep happening. I don't want to like interrupt. It's like you guys are doing...
Well, that's why I decided to ask Tara Long a question, and now we're just talking about me and Max again. This is
really
horrible.
Interesting people, though.
We are fascinating.
Yeah.
I am jealous of other people because I can't study myself. I wish I was all three of you talking to me right now. I can't Skype up with myself. It'd be weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
Is there anything anyone would like to talk about before I wrap this up and go on to the questions? I know we had some topics, but we...
I did want to hear what
let's talk about this later.
Yeah, I guess we talk about it later.
Borderlands 2, I wanted to talk about that, but that can wait, because the teaser trailer was just so nothing. I don't even have anything to say about it.
I am interested to hear what you guys think of Lollipop Chainsaw, but that can wait too.
No, but let's talk about... We can do Lollipop Chainsaw, we've got time for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with the fact that big name developers, EA did it, and now Warner Brothers is doing it, and they've got a lot of money, are like touting Suda51's name as though millions of people will be like, Suda51's making it, I have to buy that game, when his like best-selling game sold like 500,000 copies. If anything, people will hear Suda51 and be like, I'm not buying that. I hate that guy's games. Like his games piss people off. Killer 7, for instance, really angered a lot of people, and they won't buy his stuff anymore after that.
I feel like a lot of people will probably Google him and be like, oh, he's got a cult following. I mean, it's kind of like, when you say from the director of Army of Darkness, that doesn't mean that's, I mean, that's not it's a cult movie, It's kind of like that. People are like, oh, this is a thing that a small group of people are really into.
Yeah, it's going to make a smaller audience go twice as mental, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
He's also kind of known now as like the weird Japanese video game developer,
He is. That's
kind of his shtick.
Yeah.
So
in many ways, like Suda is an adjective. Like, if you say it's a Suda game, you're not saying it's a game by Suda, you're saying it is a game like Suda 51's games.
Yeah, I was tempted to say El Shaddai is a Suda-like game, but I didn't do it. I chickened out. But exactly, I know what you mean. But not how many people actually know what that means from first-hand experience? Because his games, he's yet to really have a blockbuster. So I'm still puzzled that it seems like they're trying to turn him into a big name by talking him up as though he is something bigger than he actually
it's worked
has ever
before.
been.
I mean, I've always said that the reason why Halo is the biggest game in the world is because Microsoft told everyone it was the biggest game in the world. These things often become big because we're told they are. And
Right.
you think this is the principle of why sequels sell more, because people think if it's got a 2 on it, it must have done well the first time, so it must be a good game. I'm going to buy that.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's called the blockbuster effect. When you see a commercial for a movie and it's like, it's the #1 blockbuster in the country, everyone's like, oh, I better go see it.
Yeah.
'Cause everyone else saw it. Must be good.
It doesn't work all the time, as evidenced in Suda's case, but it's nice to see that people are trying. You know, they're trying to market this guy because, I mean, he's fucking unique, and he is what I think the industry could do with a lot more of these actual designers who become little celebrities in their own right. And we need to get into a position. I'm actually speaking with Yahtzee and Movie Bob over at The Escapist at the moment about sequels and how people only recognize brands, they don't recognize studios. And I think we need to push more people like Suda so that we do think of games by their creators, so we know to get excited for something that's a brand new IP rather than a sequel to something. So it's like, oh shit, a Suda game. I love Suda 51's games. I'm going to get Lollipop Chainsaw. Or, oh shit, it's Hideo Kojima. I'm going to get whatever he brings out next that's not Metal Gear Solid, you know? Rather than only recognizing the Metal Gear Solid brand name. We recognize the studios and the developers. And I'm glad they're pushing people like Suda now.
Yeah, I hope it works. I hope he doesn't try too hard to fit in with the mainstream. I feel like his games since Killer 7 have definitely gotten less weird. I still like them, but he's definitely taken a turn since then. Because I feel like he must feel responsibility for a studio and for the amount of money on the line, so he's conforming a little bit more to the mainstream. Like Lollipop Chainsaw, for instance, that's definitely... After that trailer, if you didn't tell me that was a Suda 51 game, I might not have guessed. It just seemed like it might be just a sexy girl fighting zombies game.
It seems like Bulletstorm for ladies, almost.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
That very, like, kind of unrealistic, but, like, still silly feeling to it. Like, very Kill Bill, you know?
Yeah, the only thing that really tipped me off that it was a Suda game was that blood and like mucus and rainbows come out of the zombies when she cuts them in half. That was definitely a Suda touch, and just the idea of a woman with a giant chainsaw. I don't know if anyone else has done that yet, but
I'm worried that this is going to be too much of kind of like a Hollywood take on Suda. Like, you know how there's that kind of, what is it, Most Extreme Challenge, like that game or that game show where they're like, oh, it's Japanese, it's so weird, you know, and it's taking stuff that's kind of weird by Japanese standards or by American standards and then bringing it over here with the entire like spin being, oh shit, it's Japanese, it's wacky. And it's like, have you seen the one where they make people put fucking bugs on their heads? Like, that's weird. That's fucking weird.
That's legit weird.
Yeah.
Well, James Gunn is taking credit for like writing it and part of the concept, and he hasn't. The fact that a filmmaker who wrote the Dawn of the Dead, he wrote the Scooby-Doo movies, which were actually pretty popular. His name wasn't in the trailer at all. They totally skipped him.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was in there.
Factual mistake. Oh, speaking of which...
You are such a bad journalist. Oh my god.
I
know a certain blog you're going to be appearing on soon, sir.
Which one's that?
I don't know. Well, it depends if you can pay his rent. So, what were you saying?
Oh, I forgot to mention that I accidentally said that the Super Nintendo sold 23 million units worldwide when it's more like 50 million. I said that last week. I'm sorry.
Oh, you fucking journalist.
Idiot. I I don't prepare my facts before the podcast.
Oh, I could do your job better than you. How I distracted hiring these people. I should be doing it.
There are people that would say
Fuck
that.
off and die, the lot of you.
So back to Lollipop Chainsaw. Jim?
What? All right. It's a Suda51 game. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Total no-brainer. I love Suda51's stuff. I love that he doesn't give a fuck, even when he is trying to appeal to a more mainstream crowd. Like, he's refining his games, but he's not changing too much of them. He's just making them more playable, more easier for people to get into, while still assaulting them with just utter nonsense. And this looks like more of that. Like, clearly, this is already looking like his most mainstream endeavor yet, even beyond Shadows of the Damned, and yet there's still so much weirdness in it. But sadly, we were talking about this, Nick and Dale and a bunch of guys in the Daily Destructoid chat room. The YouTube comments when the trailer hit YouTube, a lot of them were negative. A lot of people were complaining. A lot of them were like, oh, what's this shit? It looks stupid. Oh my god, they've got some 16-year-old girl in a school dress, sexist. Oh my god, this looks dumb. Like, I think weirdness maybe doesn't sell to the mainstream crowd as much as we all think it does. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think it. Yeah, it very rarely has. Yeah, I worry about that.
It would. Like, you think, especially when you see things like Tim and Eric succeeding and Aqua Teen and these shows that are just fucking bizarre, and people love them, and you try and put that in a video game, and people are all, well, that's dumb.
Well, I with No More Heroes, I definitely think people didn't like that Suda was pointing out that they are a little bit ridiculous. Like, that game is about how gamers want to, like, jerk off and run around with a lightsaber and just kill strangers.
I don't know why there's any shame in that.
Well, gamers, not to make a blanket statement, but you can make a movie about old women for old women who are, like, gonna date Pierce Brosnan, have a sexy time in their 60s and whatnot, and they'll eat it up. But you can't make a game about gamers, because gamers aren't as confident as old women. They're like, you're saying what about me?
I think there's some truth to that, actually. I think that's evidenced by the fact you can't tell a joke in a game blog anymore without being accused of trolling. It's like somewhere we've gone from truth to trolling by missing out the joke bit in between. It's like there's a bit in between where people are just having a laugh, and I might make a joke about a console or a game, and people will instantly go, oh my god, he's trolling. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to make people laugh, you dolt. I'm not trying to make people upset. And they do that with anything. Like, you can't make a joke about gamers without them getting...
People don't really... I think these are people who've grown up just reading the internet, and they have a really hard time kind of discerning on their own the difference between opinion and fact, which is... I mean, if you read a newspaper, there's an opinion section and an editorial section.
Well, not just opinion,
and then there's the news.
An opinion and a sarcastic opinion. Like, they don't get jokes. Everything's either... If you make a statement, either you believe it wholeheartedly or you're deliberately lying to upset people. The bit in the middle where you're just trying to be entertaining or a bit sardonic, that doesn't exist anymore. This is the internet where extremes only exist, and it does annoy me. The sensitivity that's there, and I get some of it, like, you know, gaming gets belittled, and in society there's still a lot of silly stereotypes, but, you know, have a bit of a sense of humour. I once wrote an article called The 10 Golden Rules of Metal Gear Solid, where I wrote these 10 things that must be in every Metal Gear Solid game, and it was taking the piss. Except I fucking love Metal Gear Solid. I love that series, and a lot of people say, God, why is this hater writing this? Why does this guy hate Metal Gear Solid? I'm like, no, I love it, and that's what allows me to make jokes about it, you bloody fool.
People are really bad at appreciating something, but, like, noticing it has flaws.
At the same time.
It's almost it's kind of like how animals defend their young, you know? Like, if you want to look at a bird's nest, that mother bird doesn't give a fuck if you want to look at it because you think her babies are cute. She's like, get the fuck away, I'm a blue jay! It's like, people are like that. They're like, oh, you're talking about Gears of War? oh, you're making fun of it? Oh, and they,
Yeah, they can't handle
It's
it.
a horrible example because Gears of War isn't actually worth defending. But
Whoa!
Oh! No, I'm just fucking around.
And actually, and this is coming. I am personally a big Gears of War fan, and I'm fine with you saying that. I've always said, I mean, if I got upset every time someone had a go at my favourite stuff, as a Dynasty Warriors fan, I'd be dead by now. I'd have drowned myself. It's just, you've got to learn to let go. I wrote a post once complimenting PC gaming, and I said, because PC gaming can be a bit of a hassle, installing mods, fixing things, dealing with publishers that don't get to put out demos or whatnot. There's some hassle there, and I once said that this is before I got to play the review copy, but I said games like Witcher 2 make the hassle of PC gaming worth it. And I just got, what do you mean by hassle? What are you implying by hassle? I find PC gaming the easiest thing in the world. Go back to consoles, please. And I'm like, dude, I'm on your side.
Well, you didn't think exactly like they did.
I'm in my browser every day, and I get people going, go back to console today. I'm like, dude, I PC game more than I do my consoles, you fucking retards. For people that like to think they're a superior, more intelligent race, PC gamers can be as dumb as fucking pig shit.
It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, I mean, people can be pretty fucking stupid in general. Like,
well, they don't hold themselves to a very high standard on the internet, as we all know from experience. But back to Lollipop Chainsaw.
Okay.
I guess I can say.
I love the way how you've always, like, whenever you want to bring up a subject now, you have to do it with this trepidation and this.
I'm a little scared.
Like, can I get us on topic?
Do you wanna? Yeah. What do you think of the? Is she going to piss people off? Is it like, how Bayonetta was very polarizing? A lot of people thought she was like a feminist hero. A lot of people thought she was just like another slutty, stereotypical horny for the guys to be horny about.
There's a certain subset of female bloggers who use WordPress and Blogspot who are going to hate this game.
Yeah, I wonder. I hopefully they'll get it. Hopefully they'll see that. To me, it's really so tongue-in-cheek, more so than Bayonetta, at least so far. I mean, the rainbows coming out of the zombies' decapitated skulls and whatnot, that's too much. It's too good. I hope you get it.
I'm actually less excited. I'm less excited about this after seeing the trailer, just because it's so Grindhouse meets Sucker Punch.
I like Grindhouse and Sucker Punch. Yeah, I like both of them.
Hated both of them. I didn't see Sucker Punch because I want to beat the shit out of Zack Snyder in slow motion. I mean, if you're going to make exploitation, I think there needs to be a certain kind of motive to it. It can't be like exploitation that people are going to genuinely appreciate. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, you need to...
Yeah. No,
it needs to be exploitative. It can't be... There can't be an underlying... Oh yeah, this is actually kind of a cool character.
You don't want any irony, is what you're saying?
No, I guess I do want irony, but you can't. I think it's hard to go kind of like to go all the way with the camp that is being injected into this, and still have it be taken seriously.
Yeah, you're trying. Level. You're basically you can't do something that's campy and stupid and still expect people to think you're cool and awesome at the same time. I guess is the message there.
Is that it?
Yeah, you can't have a best friend if you're a sociopath. Like
what's going on?
Maybe you can. I don't know. I'm saying if you're gonna not give a fuck about what you're doing and kind of go in there and be ridiculous, you've got to kind of be ridiculous on all fronts. You can't have, you can't. I mean, I feel like you can't try and have characters who are trying to be appealing on some level. The catchphrases she was spouting off just seemed really, really missing the mark. She was like, eat it. Oh, get out of the way, douchebag. Like, fuck you. Oh.
Those are in every single video game nowadays, though, because Dead Island has that, but it's even worse. Dead Island, like little, when you hit people, like your character says, like, she'll say, like, dead forever after you kill someone.
Whoa, that's terrible.
Like, racist Asian accent. And it's like, That was another problem that I had with the game. It was just too ridiculous.
See, my problem's the other way round, though, with Dead Island, because the character... I was playing the Chinese, the retired Chinese police lady in it, and she was upset by everything. Like, I was punching zombies, and she was going, oh god, no, this is terrible. I'm not going to do the accent. She was going, this is awful and terrible, and I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm kicking a zombie in there. Why aren't you enjoying this, bitch?
But did she do catchphrases like, "Oh, I did it again"? Like that sort of thing?
I didn't hear that, but I do remember in trailers that sort of thing. Stay down! Oh, you fucking zombie!
Yeah, I can't get behind that really. I if she doesn't do it in game, I won't care. But I'm hoping that that lollipop chainsaw, is her name Juliet Starling? I think used to be Juliet Sterling, and then they changed it.
Aw.
Yeah, that's sad. I'm hoping that she is the first female video game character to unite feminists and horny teenage guys together under one banner.
That will never happen.
I think she might be the one. The feminist and the horny teenage boys
I'm sure people have already been calling this one sexist.
You think?
Dude,
yeah, maybe.
Look,
it needs to be. I've seen
some of the blogs. I've seen some of the blogs out there. There are people. There are women that get angry over like characters that wear tank tops and things like that. Just anything that shows a bit of skin. Some of these people get really pissed off. There's some insane. And I'm not saying that's all women, and that's certainly not all feminists. There are very sensible ones that can contextualize. But at least the ones that we will hear about, the ones that will have the loudest voices. Some of those people are insane. So,
well, I don't know. I consider myself a genuine feminist and a guy who likes things that are sexy. So maybe it'll work for me. I like sexy things, and I like girl power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm
great.
I'm
the same way, but if I try and explain that, people just accuse me of being disingenuous. Because again, I make some jokes which a lot of people will instead claim is my specifically stated opinion. Like that time I said I wanted to fuck Genova's head and have her on my cock like some Patrick Bateman shit. Some person on some blog, someone was like, oh my god, he actually wants to fuck DiCaprio. And they were serious. They thought that's what I wanted.
And it's like a robot alien thing.
I mean, like, it's so obviously a joke, but again, like, it's either you are lying on purpose to upset, or you are 100% genuine. And what that is depends on what point the other person's trying to make when they speak for you. Anyway, this has gotten a little bit bitter.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to turn around with optimism and say that I do believe that true feminists like Jim Sterling and other wonderful
or at least
people
my wife. My wife.
Yeah, your wife.
My wife very much is someone who believes in feminism and attractive women, so I don't know what that's supposed to, whether that's whether she's a misogyno-feminist. I don't know how that works, but I don't know how any of it works. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I do. I do my best to try and be good to people, and what more can you ask?
That's right.
I feel like just don't be a jerk and have a sense of humor about stuff, and you're probably gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's how I've always tried to live life.
Yeah. Everyone thinks you're a jerk. I'm really mad right now because Reddit's always talking shit about Destructoid, mostly because of you, Jim.
Are they?
Yeah, they really they got really mad because we posted those like opinions about esports. People in the StarCraft section got all riled up, and they were like, "Let me play my esports if I want to," and I'm like, "You're missing the point, brother. It's not fucking because you're playing them. It's because they're being called esports. It's like."
Well, the thing is, I don't even give a flying fuck what they call it. They could call it hemorrhaging out of their cunt for all I care. It's just their attitude at the moment, the insecure, petty attitude where if a random community blogger happens
What do you mean at the moment? They always do this.
Yeah, but it's like if one random community blogger who isn't even like a staffed writer anywhere happens to say, I don't think esports should be called esports, then you get big esports celebrities like DJ Wheat and actual big spokesmen really getting quite childish and angry and bitter and nasty. And I'm like, really? You want to be taken seriously as a sport, and your biggest spokesmen are acting like fucking whiny children? Just fuck off. I'm all for spirited debate. I'm all for throwing swear words out there, and if someone's a dick to you, by all means be a dick back. But when someone makes a reasonable argument that they don't think something should be called, when someone makes a reasonable argument over semantics, don't get that fucking het up. Just enjoy your fucking StarCraft. No one's saying you can't. It's just some people don't respect that you want to call it a sport, and you have to respect that they are right, because it's not a sport.
Yeah, I'm going back to what I said. It's like Reddit always is kind of bitter about stuff like the gaming crowd on there, because we're biased, and because we're, we make jokes and we're unprofessional, and I'm really angry at Reddit right now because it's a fucking
Reddit
website.
Is a bunch of pussies. Can I just say that?
I know. Oh, I know.
I
want to sow the wind right here, just so that I can reap that sweet, sweet whirlwind. I guess kind of just because this is the best sounding board we have. Reddit is a website that my girlfriend is on fucking all the time when she's not paying attention to me when she's on there, and it's a fucking website that's full of a bunch of little shits who don't like me because I work for a website that has Jim Sterling on it. So fuck you, Reddit. I'm gonna go to fucking one of your meetups, and I'll give you some fucking downvotes with my fists. That's my piece.
Whoa.
I love Reddit, by the way. Because
I read the shit out of Reddit, and it fucking makes me angry because I'm like, I could be reading books right now, you fucks! You have to put up pictures of cats!
I'll tell you why I love Reddit, because I had a family member in the hospital one weekend about 2 years ago, and really needed to look after them, and I was able to take that weekend off because Reddit had provided me with so much traffic, I didn't have to work for a few days. I could just sit back and watch the dollars roll in while they got upset over something, like one little joke I posted somewhere.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it works for you. The legion of love to hate you people are actually a profit deal.
Well, I mean, they are, and people say that I only troll for hits, and it's like, no, it's just the hits are a nice byproduct that let me get to take weekends off.
I got so mad because some guy was trying to explain, like, oh yeah, all they do is they post troll bait and flame bait, and they just want people to come to their website, and they just want people to get mad and get all the hits from it. I'm like, a website wants to get hits?
Yeah.
You fucking science genius, motherfucker. Good God.
I love these. I get this
shit. What hits?
I get this all the time, like these armchair psychologists that think they know who you are. A guy they've never spoken to and have only ever seen like articles on video games, and yet they think they're in your head like Hannibal fucking Lecter, and they're just sat there like, oh, he only writes this to get hits for this, and he doesn't really believe this, and he only did this because he's upset about this, a totally unrelated thing. And I'm like, who are you? Like, these people, they don't... I don't know. The really smarmy ones that think they understand the human condition so well that they have a total stranger on the internet pegged. It just... Get over yourself. People call me arrogant, but I'm not there psychoanalyzing people who I don't know.
Yeah, it makes them feel good. There's a lot of sad people out there. And we're the receptacle of their bullying and hate in a lot of ways, but they're just making themselves look bad.
Yeah. There's one of them, I think he's called HPV or something, on Destructoid. He,
oh yeah,
I looked
human
at his
papilloma virus.
I looked at his comment history on a whim the other day just to see what he's like. He spends most of his time browbeating people, picking up like one spelling mistake in a whole article, and just focusing on it and calling people idiot and moron for it. And I'm like, how little must you have going on that's... Like, you've got to flaunt your intellectual superiority in that way. I don't know. I mean, here I am, arrogantly psychoanalyzing someone myself just then.
Well, you're not summing him up as a person, but when he does that, there's no other explanation.
It gives the impression. It gives me the impression
Well, how else can you take that?
Yeah, that he's so insecure, you got to browbeat. And he's not the only one. There are people that just, they seem to live for getting off on correcting people and calling them idiots and going onto a blog that they didn't even have to pay for and acting like a customer that's been wronged because someone made a small mistake in an article. It's like, just how dare you? Fucking...
I'll never forget HBV because he's the, when Anthony left Destructoid but did it and asked Ashley Davis to marry him in the same post. Everyone was like, oh my god, this is the sweetest thing. Oh, I'm so happy for you guys. Except HBV, it was like, fuck off, Anthony. You're a shitbag. You ruined the site. I'm glad you're leaving.
Which is funny because he accuses everyone of being the worst writer or ruining the site depending on who he's mad at the time. He's called Maurice the worst writer. I saw it in the comment history I was looking at the other day, and I believe I answered his question when we kicked Podtoid back up. His question for the show was, "What's it like single-handedly ruining Destructoid?"
I haven't seen him comment in anything I've written, pretty much ever.
I don't think he's ever commented on any of our show posts or anything.
He must just hate certain people.
I don't think he posts very often on things he likes. I think he just, if it's something positive, maybe he panics and is like, God, I like this, I better run away from my computer. And then he sees someone else, like me or Maurice have posted, and he's like, oh, thank fuck, something I can hate while fiddling my little peanut. Commenters on the internet, what would we do without them?
Yeah, if you're listening to this...
It is always really nice when you get like an email or a comment that says something nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting here fucking griping, but seriously, like, I don't know. I got an email just now that was somebody being like, "Hey, I really like the show. Do you have any news about zombies?" And yes, I have news about motherfucking zombies because we're the best.
Yeah. It's very gratifying. Like, over on The Escapist, and I fucking hated The Escapist community for the first few weeks because they were all like HPV. Just really, like, looking down on people and getting really annoyed. And then they all seemed to disappear or die. Or few of them got one round, and now a lot of them are, like, really nice. And it's good, because I certainly wouldn't want to do this job if it was all hate. But I get a lot of love as well. And as do we all, and Destructoid on the whole. We get, even though we don't pay attention to it as much because the human mind is engineered towards picking up on negativity and carrying it with us, we do get more positive than negative, and it's always very appreciated because...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It does have an effect, at least on the subconscious, and it reminds us that we've got people that really appreciate what we do, even though sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes, we will swear when we don't mean to. Or we will post some tits and people will be upset. It's good.
And I do want to say, because I believe that people can change. If you're one of those internet trolls and you're just in the habit of only trying to be menacing or hurtful, you can change tomorrow, HPV. You can decide tomorrow, I'm going to write Jim Sterling, you're actually not always that bad.
Holmes, there's no cure for HPV.
Well, you can always hope. I'm a hoper.
Yeah.
Make that change.
God, this has gone on for so long.
Yeah.
Let's do a few questions. Let's just hammer out a few and then get done. Sorry for going on, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed it. Xenon Liger says he can only afford one of these 3 games coming in late August, early September. Which one of these 3 games would each of you get if you could only afford one? And the choices are Dead Island, Deus Ex Human Revolution, or Warhammer 40k Space Marine.
I would get Warhammer. Oh, okay. You'd get Deus Ex.
And you'd get Warhammer.
That's true. I like Warhammer.
I get a fucking warm hammer every time I think of
Warhammer.
Yeah, it's so okay for people to sexually harass me. I don't know why. It's been this way for a long time. There was this nurse, the place I used to work. Her nose would just suddenly be at the back of my neck. I'm like, is that a nose? She's like,
what?
Yeah, I'm like, why is your nose there? She's like, I like it. And then this other lady, when I worked at a summer camp, she bit me on the back. And I'm like, I was just walking around. I'm like, why'd you bite there? And she's like, I like it. I'm like, why does everyone think this is okay? It's not. It's not like. And in fact, they're right. It is okay because I didn't really. I thought it was funny. It was fine. Anyway, I'm sorry. I got us off track. I would get Warhammer because it's got good. I like a game that can mix up crown control versus one-on-one combat and also long-distance combat and short-range combat. It keeps you thinking, keeps you guessing the best way to take on the enemies at the time. It's not just run up and do a combo type game or just shoot guys with a sniper rifle game. There's a lot of... They mix up the combat very well.
I've been actually playing a preview build of Space Marine, and it has... it's got some issues, especially with movement controls and things. There are some annoyances, but it's nice. It's impressive how fluidly they made the shooting and the sword play. However, I would say Deus Ex Human Revolution out of those three, just because I think it's going to be a serious Game of the Year contender. It looks fantastic. Its storyline is, well, I mean, just looking at what they've shown, blew me away, the concepts that they've got. And it's talking about like actual social commentary and stuff, and things I love in any entertainment. So I'm believing that Square Enix sent my copy out today at the time of recording, so it should get here tomorrow. And I tell you what, I'm going to come on it. I might and I'm serious, I might actually come on it and then take a photo with my semen on it. Would that qualify as pornography? Is that illegal to like tweet a picture of my semen on a review copy of a game? I don't know.
It's a fetish.
Make some frosting. Make some like fake semen.
I'm not doing that. It's going to be semen.
Just get some shampoo.
When Jim Sterling does something, Jim Sterling does it properly, especially only when there is semen involved.
But I feel like that's weird. I don't want to look at your jizz, Jim.
Max Scoville, give me permission to take a photo of my semen. No, I'm asking. Can you please give? I can't do this without your blessing, my liege. Can I please? Semenize all over. Do a dirty spunk.
Don't show it to me. I don't want to look at your jizz.
I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, it's Jizz Sterling.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to
ejaculate on a video game and show it to you.
Because Max,
because it's journalism.
Max, if you tell me no, I'm still going to do it. But I don't want to have to force this on you. You're going to have to say yes. Otherwise,
Jim, you realize you are single-handedly. I hope single-handedly. You might be a switch hitter, but you were single-handedly taking the urinal out of journalism.
What does that leave you with?
Jism.
Oh, man, that was quick-witted.
Yeah, I have my moments.
Many.
You realise what I'm going to do tomorrow is there's going to be a tweet with, oh my god, scientists have discovered something that looks like a real-life squid bear. You are going to excitedly click on it, and it's going to be a whole bunch of my deviled egg batter all over Human Revolution.
You're going to make your own little Human Revolution.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so I think I'd probably get Deus Ex too. I'm not interested in. I don't have enough money to buy games, so this is a question that I'm considering too as well. I think I might get either Dead Rising. Well, Tara and I got to play through Dead Rising or Dead Island, fucking Dead Game, whatever, Zombie Game, Zombie Island, Bikini Zombies. But yeah, probably Deus Ex. I don't know.
Sounds good.
I don't know. Everything I've seen of it, I'll have to take a closer look. I've only seen the trailers where it's just a guy with metal arms, like talking about.
Jonathan.
It's
sunglasses.
It's funny. Like I harp on this, but like those questions where it's like, if you could have sex with this fictional character, I put about as much thought into that as I do with which games would you buy, because I don't have any fucking money and those characters aren't real. So it's like equal chances of me doing those things. It's very much a hypothetical question.
Yeah, when you're poor, asking what game you're going to buy this month doesn't really. Yeah.
Well, the majority answer for that is Deus Ex. So,
yes, it is.
Yeah, I know I'm excited. For tomorrow there will be a human ejaculation.
I hope it's good. Tell me all about it.
I will. And I'm not going to tell you about the game. I will tell you about the masturbate I had on it. Gotenks 0053 asks, which video game would you want to voice act for the most?
That's hard. I just have to think of a video game that's already out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd really like to be a super mutant.
In
Fallout.
Fallout.
Oh yeah, Fallout. Yeah.
Just because
Those
they're
things are scary.
they're like monster retards.
I could totally be a character in Fallout.
Yeah, well, they already have one Revision 3 lady talking on those games, whatever.
Who's in that?
Well, what's one more? Veronica
that,
Belmont did some voice acting for one of the DLC packs.
Oh,
for
that's
New-
nice. She got mad at me when I said Tara was prettier than her. I was shocked.
Aw.
Why?
Why was I shocked, or why did she get mad?
Well, I mean, why would you say that? That's
Because Tara is
shoulda-
prettier than her.
He said it not to her, and
No.
she saw it anyway.
Yeah, I'm surprised she saw it because I didn't like at her or anything. It's on Twitter with my like 1,000 followers at the time, and she has 1,500,000. So I'm like, this won't matter.
I think she has
I
like an
tricked her
alert
into,
set up for her name or something.
I
On
tricked her
Oh,
into
I
clicking on
should've
that
guessed.
pterodactyl porn.
Oh, that's good. She seems nice.
Yeah.
Who,
She's
who
nice.
cares how pretty anybody is? It's not a big deal. You know, she's a great person. She's just not quite as pretty as Tara is. What was I talking about? If they remake Earthbound with voice acting, I would want to be the voice actor for Pooh. That's my story.
I would probably go with Killzone, just because I already have a Helghast character that I do, so it would be very easy to just be like, "Oh, shoot him with your gun!"
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be an easy job.
I'd love to do Saints Row. I mean, I'm trying really hard to get into, get in Saints Row. Period.
Why wouldn't they have you in that? Where's the harm
Probably
in
because
that?
they've got money riding behind it, and I'm just this idiot who they're like, they follow me on Twitter and they think it's funny. Like, I don't know.
Come on. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the downside. If I were on their team, I would just have you come in and be like, "Funk that," and that would be it.
Yeah, I'd be
then
like,
you're in.
something stupid I would say, would be probably like, "Sir, that is illegal." Just some NPC dialogue. It'd be great.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do it. Decided.
Yeah,
Another question?
I'm
Yes.
looking. Again, I didn't pick them out beforehand. I was too busy playing S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Yo, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Cows and Cattle Ranch.
While you're looking it up, I did want to say, why is it okay to say crazy? Like, that's crazy. This is crazy fat chocolate. I love the taste. But you can't say, oh, it's retarded fat chocolate. Not bad,
You
crazy
can
good.
say that. You just not if you want to, be the Black Eyed Peas. Because they
Or,
had that
you know.
song. They had that song. Let's get retarded in here, and then they were
Yeah.
like, oh, we want to be famous, so let's get it started in here.
But they
I
weren't
want to
using
start telling
retarded in a
people it
negative
started
term.
people.
I think if you
I know.
start aligning retarded with good stuff, like this is delicious. It's retarded how delicious it is. Why is
to
that
be-
offensive?
to be
This is
fair,
retarded sick.
I just
Yeah, I
guys,
think that's
guys.
great.
Zack Snyder and Michael Bay, they literally make retarded movies because they have all those slow motion sequences. They are literally
They are
retarded films.
They are slow.
Yeah, they have been slowed down,
It's true.
and they're made by incompetent people.
I think retarded in a negative term because I know a lot of mentally retarded people that I aspire to be more like because they don't overthink things. They're genuine. They do what they feel, and great things can come of that. I think retarded's great. More retarded, please. I want it.
I just think it's a boring word to describe them when there are so many colourful ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't use it to describe people.
You call
too
them
much.
like passengers on the Sunshine Bus. Everyone knows what you mean, and it's a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
retard is a boring word. Let them have it.
indeed. Did you pick out a question? Yeah, I was just trying to build
Yeah,
time.
I've got one. Havoc Fang says, what video game enemy stroke baddie would you like to ride? Horse, atom bomb style.
That's a really,
You
really
mean-
good question.
Being
It is a really
dropped
good one.
out of a plane and you're gonna die.
I just think either riding it like you would an atom bomb or riding it like you would a horse. Like, either
Oh.
way, just as long as you're riding some kind of enemy from a video game.
Okay. All right. It's got to be an enemy. I can't just pick a Pokemon.
And that was the question.
Pokemon are technically enemies and friends, so I guess I'll skip them. Does someone else want to go first?
This is hard.
Yeah, it is really hard.
It is difficult.
I can't think of any like hot villains.
Yeah, there aren't that many sexy villains.
No, ride like a dirty, mucky, Tara Long, the mucky-mouthed little moo cow.
What? Come on!
You said riding hot villains.
Sure, why not?
Mucky, dirty-mouthed little girl.
Little Liquid Snake, maybe? He's pretty hot. Do you know him, Tara? He's shirtless. He's got
yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, he's kind of good. People
Ride
like
me, Tara Long. I hope you're watching this, brother.
Yeah, he was pretty competitive.
I'm still going to answer the question as though it were posed in a sexual manner.
I had to nail that chick that I saw in that 4chan thread, brother. I saw a gif of her wobbling boobs.
God damn it.
There's a gif of your wobbling boobs?
You've seen it.
I have not seen it.
I don't want to talk about this.
I've never been to 4chan before. It seems yucky.
Good, keep it that way.
Yeah, I'm
It's where dreams go to die on the internet.
It seems depressing there. Seems like everyone just feels sold and confused afterwards.
It's the sewers of the World Wide Web.
I like weird stuff, but I just
Are you not flattered?
No.
Oh. There's more pictures of them finding you hot than there are of them finding me hot.
Yeah, me too.
They just don't like me very much. Which is sad.
Well, they don't know who I am at all, so, you got something going for you. You're known. Feels good.
I'd ride on an Octorok.
Oh, nice.
Because I think that they're cute. Sometimes they're really ugly, but in like Minish Cap, I think they're probably my favorites because they look like little weevils, and you can just ride around and they just be shooting those fucking nuts everywhere, whatever those things are.
I think Minish Cap is the only 2D Zelda that really tried to take Zelda 1 and take it as far as they could in terms of art style. Like Link's Awakening, Link to the Past is kind of like that, but they mixed it up a little bit. But those Minish Cap Octoroks are awesome.
They're really cute. I like them a lot.
Got the eyes.
I kind of want to get an Octorok tattoo just because I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're great. So Terry, you haven't decided.
If not
Jim,
that,
have you
I would
decided?
like to ride a.
I have.
What?
What?
Did he go?
What?
Sorry, Max, you were halfway through a sentence.
Oh, I was gonna say my second choice was I would ride a like from Zelda, one of those things that traps you.
Oh yeah, they're tough.
Yeah, I would just I just have sex with it. Got my dick stuck in a like. Really
they are just basically a flesh sleeve that you can get inside of. Yeah.
I'd like to surf a liquor. Like the liquors from Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Just like the skinless fellas with the brains and the big tongues. I'd like to stand on one's back and surf it while it's like crawling around on the floor stabbing people with its tongue, and I'm just like, woo!
What's the I'm picturing the music from California Games Surfing playing, like doing that. It's a good song. Yeah, I'd enjoy that. I'm really stumped on this one. I guess Balrog from Cave Story, because he can fly and he knows magic and he's like a big bar of soap and he's cute, so you can just fly around on him. Balrog. Yep.
Terry, you got anything for us?
No, I don't. I can't fucking think of anything.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's tough.
Not.
How about the evil clouds from Saibon Action? So they just come down and crush the cat.
What?
Tara knows
yes,
Tara.
That's a pretty big stretch, but it's literally the only thing I can think of right now.
Just say a bird and we'll move on.
A bird.
Okay.
Sure. Pass. I'd rather just pass than say a bird.
The fuck is a pass?
Yeah, you can do it next week. Think about it. This will be your week.
Zeph will ask if I ever considered getting into comedy. I used to be in, and I was bad at it.
That's kind of hard to believe, Jim. I mean, you are really funny.
I didn't know what I was doing.
How What?
I like just as a business, as an actual getting gigs and making it work.
Well, that's really hard. Yeah.
I used to be in a comedy double act with my friend Leo, who is now a musician, a very good one. I've mentioned him before on the show. We used to work together and we do sketch shows. Totally self-indulgent shit. Like, we just made each other laugh. And to be fair, the 7 people that turned up liked it as well. But yeah, I don't know. I found out I liked writing more than performing, so I ended up doing the writing. And then it just so happens I'm able to do videos on The Escapist and do this every week now as well. So I think it worked out for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, and that video game show, what I've done, was great too. You've done a lot of good videos.
Fucking pissed off that no one... I thought that was a great idea for a show.
I thought it was amazing. I was jealous. I wish I thought of it.
I might do it again at some point. It was going to be on Machinima for a while, but that just seemed to disappear. So I just concentrate on the Jimquisition now, see what happens when I've done my first series of that. But yeah, that's fun. What else have we got here? Would you fuck Jonathan Holmes if he had tits? Also, video games. That was by Pink Ranger.
So all I would need to suddenly be attractive is like some larger, because my boobs are already a little bit bigger than the average man's.
I was gonna
as
say
it is. They're not the smallest boobs for man standards. So I can't answer that. I guess I would not have sex with me if I just had boobs but looked exactly like me. That would be pretty weird. I guess. Well, maybe I would.
I wouldn't need
yeah.
the tits. I wouldn't need the tits. I don't know why that needs.
Is that asking if you like got just some tits bolted on, or if you were like a lady?
I don't know. He's not more specific than that.
Because really,
I think it's like if you got implants.
Because that would actually be less. That would be actually weirder than just having gay sex with you. I think. Because you get this other kind of like extra element, you know?
Yeah. The tranny aspect can make it a little bit.
I mean, that would be like.
Who are you exactly?
That would be like a French film with Rob Schneider in it for some reason.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit. I want to be on RuPaul's Drag You. I want to see what they could do with me. I think that would be a lot of fun.
It wouldn't be the weirdest show you've been on.
A fella called Joeman98 says he has found the full pterodactyl porn, and he's got a link to it. If you search pterodactyl on xvideos.com, it'll probably come up.
Yeah, I watched that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I'm liking the link name, which is pterodactyl dinosaur spermoplasmoids.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually watched that this morning, and I had the sound on, and Jen just was like, "Are you watching? Are you pornoing?" And I'm just like, "It's the pterodactyls," and she's just like, "Oh, just turn the sound off." So that's my home life.
It's the pterodactyls makes it okay.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. I guess you could say shocked even. The chick was just getting fucked up the ass by the pterodactyl guys. Which I couldn't tell from the GIF, and I found that actually to be more off-putting than like before. It seemed like I think that just kind of was like the straw on top as far as how weird that was. Because like the regular pterodactyl sex, I was like, okay, she's getting fucked by pterodactyl guys, but they're doing her in the butt. I mean, that's
I know it's such a question mark.
It's kind of icky.
Maybe that's how pterodactyls do it.
Maybe they're really stupid. I don't know what the story is with that little baby hand puppet pterodactyl.
He's great. He makes it. Yeah.
I'm the baby. Doing the anal.
I'm watching it right now.
No wonder it's so quiet. How is it? What's it called? Does it have a title?
She doesn't sound like she's enjoying it.
It's really ugly sex. It's very ugly.
But yeah, as I said, it's called pterodactyl dinosaur spermoplasmoids.
I'm gonna try to. Is that actually what it's called, or is that just what they call it on the?
That's what this video's called. I don't know if it's. God, it's going. There's one in her vagina and her bum bum.
Oh no! Some people like that. I knew a lady.
It doesn't sound like she does though.
She's getting Terra double teamed. Anyone?
I think
Did I
I'm
tell you
most
about
upset that the pterodactyls aren't acting. They're just like they're not squawking or anything.
Yeah, that was the worst part. Is that it's very clear that they are men just dressed like pterodactyls. I don't know.
That disturbs you?
Well, I mean, like if they were actually pretending to be pterodactyls, I'd be like, okay, good on you. You're playing up the dinosaur part, but
Oh god, is
I mean,
one of them now choking her with his wing?
Wow, that's mean.
I mean, can you imagine how creepy Jurassic Park would be if all the dinosaurs were just like, "Urgh," and just sounded like dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sad. I have something to show you. I'm trying to find it. It's I'm pretty sure that it is a woman who's half spider.
Don't show me that.
Have you seen it?
Someone showed me that it loaded halfway, and I just went no, and I closed the window, and then I made myself a drink. I'm not even.
It's
kidding.
pretty good.
I was legitimately scared by that. I did not like.
I will be taking that from you, sir.
I'm gonna. Where is it? You should watch it right.
See, that's
right
actually
now.
a perfect segue because I posted this article I wrote a long time ago. I put it up on my Tumblr, which is just maxscoville.tumblr. It's an article about how basically when I'm in a bad mood, I like to think about getting raped by a giant spider, and then I feel like my life is better by comparison.
Well, that's what happens
essentially,
in
it's
this
like-
movie.
I know I don't want to see it.
Oh
I
my
really don't.
fucking
I really don't want to
word.
see it.
It's not bad.
Wait, can I click on this, or will it open up a bunch of like pop-ups? And
I'm
shit?
not sure. I haven't tested it.
I got one pop-up, but it's worth it.
Is it spider porn?
If anyone's interested in this one, go to drtuber.com, Tuber, and just type spider sex in the... So, oh, well, they even did a camera with split up to show the kaleidoscope eyes.
Okay,
yeah,
see,
it's pretty good. He's
see, I wrote, as I was saying, guys, I wrote this thing about how like people are always like, oh, go to your special place, think of your magic place, go to some place in your mind where you're happy, and it's like I do the opposite of that, and my place is getting fucked by a big spider who's eating like a calzone, and is just dripping grease all over me. And then I go back to reality, and I'm like, holy shit, my life is wonderful compared to that horrible spider experience. So seeing that was basically like,
oh my god, this is awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got to say, like, I've got amazing amounts of respect for the guy who could stay hard while this is happening to him.
Seriously.
He sounds really. You'll have to turn the sound on later because he's like, oh yeah,
oh my god, the spider looks just like a burn victim with arms sticking out of its head.
Yeah, it's pretty hideous.
4 eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they went for like a fun spider costume. They wanted to make sure it looked like a mutant.
Yeah, it's
really,
not like a
really
chick in a
upsetting.
sexy spider outfit, if that's what you think.
Imagine the mutant enemies from Rage, the id game, and that is what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, remember Dead Space? Remember how you're scared of spiders? Well, what if those things had sex together and then they had a baby? And then that baby was something that somebody linked you to on Twitter right after you'd gotten done cleaning the bathroom floor. So, of course, you're already thinking about spiders. That was
I like the two
Thursday.
I like the 2 comments on this video of "this fucking happened to me once," followed by "I know that feel, bro."
Yeah, it was John Carnage that showed this to me.
Of
just
course
in case
it was.
Of course it was. He was like, "Hey, come here a second." Yeah, he didn't give me any warning. He's just like, "Come here a second." I'm like,
I don't want to look at it.
Okay, well, this is awful radio for everyone to just hear us watching things.
Speaking of John Carnage, I actually should get going. I'm supposed to go and appear on his live show in half an hour.
Oh, tell him I said hi.
I will. I'll tell him.
Tell him I want to empty him in my mouth.
Okay, I'll say that.
He'll know. He'll know.
Oh yeah, he'll know the secret meaning behind
But
that.
I'm going to keep these videos open to show my wife later. She's going to love this. And yeah, I guess that's it then. I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for always listening, despite your better judgment. You can catch Max Scoville and Tara Long every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Destructoid Show via Revision 3 and YouTube's. And Jonathan Holmes and myself on Destructoid every day. Check out Jonathan Holmes' review of El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. That went up today. And yeah, we will see you next time. Don't forget, if you come into PAX Prime, Destructoid Live, August 28th, Sunday, noon, at Unicorn Theatre. If you don't come, your grandparents, children and parents, all of them, will hate you.
No. If you don't come, we will. All over your relatives.
Yes.
Whoa! Sex threat.
Sex threat.
Okay, thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.